podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
When you talk about competition, I feel people understand and respect that you have to carry a sense of fire in your belly, and that's all that is. It's not like arrogance or anything, it's just confidence, and I'm just confident that I know what I have to do now. I'm prepared to my best.
Sky's the limit, baby.
BoxingVoice.com.
We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now I'll put on the gloves again.
¡Viva México!
Canelo wants to unify all the titles.
When did you realize, Andy, that you could take his power?
Because of the Mexican warrior that I am, I got that Mexican blood in me, so talking about the Mexican style, I just proved it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game can see the Boxing Voice.
Good morning, TBV. Talk about spontaneous. Talk about something we don't normally do. It's Sunday morning and you're rocking out with TBV on a spontaneous episode. I feel like something has been flying under the radar and it took the detection team of TBV to notice it. And we're going to definitely talk about it. And what I'm talking about is none other than Anthony Joshua's thoughts on a unification for Undisputed after the fight with Ruiz. I have audio where he says even after the fight with Ruiz, he's not even entertaining a Wilder fight conversation. And going into this fight, he's blocking Wilder out of his mind. As we both know, in the first fight, a little bit too much Wilder on his mind caused the type of performance that he did not necessarily want. So for this fight, he's saying he's blocking Wilder out. But even after beating Ruiz Jr., he will not be entertaining the Wilder Undisputed conversation, which is it's a little weird for me, right? Because we got Wilder out here, hoping that Ruiz wins so that he could be, get a unification fight. We have him saying after the Fury, he looks to be undisputed. Even before Fury, if he could get a way out of it, if it was offered to him, he would do it. And that's just not the plan for AJ, or is he just putting out a little bit of bait? A little bit of bait, continuing to be the heel, right? Maybe he's being the heel because, he's been out here in the media saying a lot of things that have been stirring and ruffling feathers. So is this just another part of AJ's mind games, or does he seriously not want to entertain a conversation for unification and undisputedness with Deontay Wilder? We'll go to the tape and have you decide.
When you talk about competition, I feel people understand and respect that you have to carry a sense of fire in your belly, and that's all that is. It's not like arrogance or anything, it's just confidence, and I'm just
Now, I'll just pause it there and remind everyone, this is an interview that's already out on Sky Sports. It's got a couple of days out, but you have to pay attention. So, get ready for the audio.
And that I know what I have to do now. I'm prepared to my best capability to go out and perform, and performance leads to the win. I'm not worried about Wilder.
So you're blocking all that out?
Yeah. And even after, I'm not going to entertain that conversation either.
And there you have it. Even after, I'm not going to entertain that conversation either. Now, I mean, look, if you don't want to troll AJ, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, well, then he has two mandatories. If he's able to win the Andy Ruiz fight, he's got an IBF mandatory with Kurbet Pulev, and he's got a WBO mandatory with Alexander Usyk. So we'll see what direction they go. Now, remember, all we hear is Usyk, Chisora. I think they're hoping Anthony Joshua, they being Matchroom, I'm thinking they're hoping Anthony Joshua wins. He fights the older Pulev, right? He fights the older Pulev, defending the IBF. Big fight, something that he was always going to do. Pulev pulled out. Nothing Anthony Joshua needs to be afraid of. Upright European style. 37, 38 years old. Definitely someone Anthony Joshua can knock over. And you let Usyk fight Chisora in the UK for the WBO in a big pay-per-view fight, because Chisora's been on pay-per-view. Usyk's this cruiserweight, moving up, undisputed, already ranked number 10 on most top 10 sanctioning bodies in terms of heavyweights. And you do an all-out affair with Chisora in the UK, building Usyk's name further. Remember, he has fights with Tony Bellew out there. And then you bring AJ back once again for a unification with another Eastern European, this time a Ukrainian in, Alexander Usyk, for an 0-2 Wembley affair. AJ's 3 belts, Usyk's 1 WBO. And I think that's why he's saying even after I'm not entertaining, they have to have a plan. Same way if Ruiz wins the belts, he has to have a plan. And I think his plan will be the same. Or maybe opposite. There's a strong possibility that Ruiz feels the Usyk style is perfect for him, and he faces his WBO mandatory, vacating the IBF. But I honestly think it's backwards in that one. Even though I think the easier fight for Ruiz and Joshua is Kurbet Pulev, I think because the PBC has been the imagery that they use on their television screen has been of Ruiz acknowledging IBF and WBA. So I think that they'll have him face Pulev and vacate the WBO, which the rumor is PBC is not recognizing the WBO. Then you'll have, Alexander Usyk and Derek Chisora fight for that. But I'll double check in terms of who in the PBC side is ranked high in the WBO in the heavyweight division, which there might not be any PBC fighter ranked in the WBO in the heavyweight division. I know there's 2 in the welterweight, but getting to those rankings now, let's see what we got. Good morning to all. Good morning to all. We have Usyk at number 1 in the WBO, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker, Adam Kovnacki. So there you go. Now, Adam is obviously ranked higher in the IBF, but that would be a PBC. So Adam at number 3, they say, all right, Adam, you go for the WBO. Andy defends his IBF versus Pulev. Number 2 is vacant. So it'll be a while before Adam gets called for the IBF in mandatory, and it'll also be a while before he gets called for the WBO. But I'm sure Adam has more of a case than Derek Chisora, who's number 14, right? So all Adam and Al Heyman have to do is when they hear that they're, there's already smoke, right? There's already smoke with Derek Chisora and Alexander Usyk. So PBC and Keith Conley, the manager of Adam Kovnacki, they need to contact the WBO and petition not to be overlooked in some sort of eliminator for the WBO mandatory position, or some sort of, a mandatory shot, right? Because Alexander Usyk is that manager. But if he gives Derek a shot and Derek wins, he trumps Adam. Now, obviously, that's within the right of the mandatory. Derek is top 14. Hopefully, their rules say he's got to fight a top 10. That being said, Adam isn't too far. So, regardless, the plans are looking right for one another, for each team, whether that be Joshua. Like I said, I think he would fight Pulev and let Usyk fight whoever they're going to do for the WBO, then come back and do the big fight in the UK. Same thing for Andy. Andy will fight Pulev because PBC has shown us that he's recognizing that that IBF and that WBA. And I think he'll fight Pulev and allow another PBC fighter to come up the ranks and try and get that WBO. You got Frank Sanchez, who is now being trained, I think, by Canelo Alvarez's trainer, Eddie Reynoso. He's number 11. I don't know if he cut PBC ties. Was he just on PBC air as a one-off? Who knows? But that's the only other PBC fighter highly ranked in the WBO. You got Junior Fa, who is a Lou DiBella guy. So, again, no ties there. So yeah, man, just kind of alarming that no one picked up on this audio, this interview being as old as it is. You know, him not really being open to that conversation. You know, you would figure all the sanctioning bodies would be willing to grant both men, whether that be AJ and Wilder or Ruiz and Wilder, whatever combination you find, the opportunity to be undisputed. You know, whatever mandatories are out there, if AJ or Ruiz get out of this fight unscathed and petition to be undisputed, I think it would be highly unfair of the sanctioning bodies to strip either man if they can actually put a deal together. I mean, hypothetically, right? The petition would only work for a guy like Andy Ruiz because it's believable. It's an in-house fight, so you'll believe that these guys will be able to negotiate a big-time fight for undisputed. Now, if that same petition was for Joshua and Wilder, we don't know that they would be able to follow the time allotted to get a negotiation, because we've been here before. Those guys have had difficulties hammering out some fair negotiations for one another. We got a super chat from Alexander Wilson that says, where does Whyte play into this? He's not suspended. Listen, that whole Whyte thing is crazy to me, right? We all know that it's fishy what transpired with Whyte and what is currently happening with Whyte. But what's even weirder is Whyte is a pay-per-view star. He's a pay-per-view star in the UK. His last 3, maybe 4 fights have been pay-per-view. And all of a sudden, he's on the AJ undercard. He doesn't even like AJ. When's the last time you seen him talk nicely of AJ? How many times has he accused AJ of, PD usage? And then, ironically, he turns around and pops with UCAD for an adverse finding. It's just crazy to me that all of a sudden, he's cool with AJ. He's rooting for AJ to beat Ruiz, and he's on AJ's undercard after being a pay-per-view star. So I think that the public image has been damaged. Matchroom knows this, so they're doing damage control. They can't put him on a separate card as a main event because there's been no answer to any of the questions surrounding Dillian Whyte. So what they do is they squeeze him on the undercard of an already fantastic fight, a fight that people already, have let their guard down to, right? They already are expecting an exciting night of boxing with this one. It's a lot of heavyweights on this one. So if you slide Whyte in there, you kind of you're kind of like, all right, so what? This is already a stacked card. Whyte is not really fighting anybody. Meanwhile, Whyte's out in the public saying that Maurice Vac has a great right hand, and it's crazy. It's crazy how hypothetical he is, right? Hypocritical he is. He's like, he'll call everyone else's opponents bums. Now, all of a sudden, Maurice Vac is a great opponent and has a good 1-2 and a decent right hand. I'm like, bro, have you looked at his box rec? When's the last time the man even got a decent win? But there is some wool being pulled over our eyes, I'm telling you. Whyte is a pay-per-view star. I don't understand why he's on the undercard of his natural nemesis. These men are enemies. Show me Whyte talking good about AJ. I'll show you, for every one you show me him talking good about it, I'll show you 3 him calling AJ a PD user, saying he has PD therapeutic exemptions. All this stuff. Now he pops. Now he's on the card. Very interesting, I'm telling you. But December 7th is going to be just that. It's going to be all action, all excitement. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Listen, I follow Timothy Moulton, as you already know, and I seen him out there, bro. I mean, Future's out there. Who's out there? Tiger's out there. They had this huge concert. I was even thinking of getting Timothy on the show just to ask how was it going to a concert with no alcohol or, flowers being burnt. Like, how was that? But it definitely looked lit. Excuse me. Definitely looked lit, man. He was saying that he was getting the VIP treatment. He got the VIP tickets. So, yeah, man, I was thinking of getting him on. I could see if he's there since it's a very early show. Not very many people up on a Sunday. This is an unexpected one, you know what I mean? People weren't aware. So, yeah, sent him a little message. Let's see if he's up. Should be, 6, 7 o'clock around there, p.m. for them. Shaggy had 3 shows this week in Saudi. Damn, it wasn't me. No, listen, I'm telling you, following Timothy, I could see there is a lot of people out there. And I mean, fans or observers of whatever concerts they're holding. So yeah, we're also going to be getting Freddie Cunningham. Remember, I promised you Freddie Cunningham, who is the manager of AJ. He'll be on the show as well. He and I have been exchanging messages, and he's just trying to get everything sorted out for AJ for Fight Week. And then he's willing to come on the show. So it looks like it'll be this week, Monday through Friday, obviously the most busiest for him, but we shall see. Will he be able to make it on and talk a little boxing with us? Also have been exchanging a few messages with Vadim. He's part of all the very many Akhmadaliyev. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but there's so many. He just had Batiev, and I believe even Bezbutin is his. Pulev is his, right? Alexander Pulev, is it? The one that's fighting Michael Hunter. So we'll be getting a lot of Russians and Ukrainians on soon. We used to have Vadim on. He's a great manager and perfect translator. So we used to have him on a lot when we used to interview Ruslan Pavatnikov. But yeah, we're going to get back to, like I said, we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to trying to get as many interviews as possible and keeping it international, just like the callers. But yeah, man, I want to go back out to the audio in case they haven't heard this.
Nah, I know what I have to do now. I'm prepared to my best capability to go out and perform, and performance leads to the win. I'm not worried about Wilder.
So you're blocking all that out?
Yeah. And even after, I'm not going to entertain that conversation either.
That is sad to me because, I don't know. I was expecting him wanting to have that fight, man. At least saying you want that fight. Just saying you want that fight. Even if that's not the plan, public perception is everything. There's another show that I want to do on AJ. I'm just trying to get the quotes in audio where he's basically like, not basically, I mean, according to what I was sent, he's saying, fuck everybody. He's got this fuck everybody mentality. So I want to see in what context he meant it. But I don't mind AJ turning into the villain at all. He was kind of doing that before the loss, but it was more arrogance. I like the villain, though. I like the villain. I like that he had this little sponsored interview with, I believe it was JD Sports, and they had him painting. And he painted a picture of Andy Ruiz, and he painted a fat kid, and then he laughed and said, "Yo, who's this? Can you guess who's this?" And it's like I don't mind him being I don't mind anybody being the bad guy. I mean, it worked very well for Adrian Broner. It worked very well for Floyd Mayweather. I mean, who else was a bad guy? I mean, even Victor Ortiz, right? Not your typical bad guy. He was more the bad guy because he kept quitting on us. So we were always mad at him, but we continued to watch him. You know, I really think we continue to watch him, right? Like, look, he gave up in the Ortiz versus Maidana fight, but what did he do? He gave us a good fight before he quit, 3 knockdowns apiece. You know, then he just stops, says, oh, I don't feel like getting beat up like this. After that, he's able to come back, you know. He gets a fight with Berto, ends up, you know, making that into a fight with Floyd. What does he do? Headbutts Floyd to get out of it. You know, referees get involved. Floyd fakes a hug. 1-2s him is over. You know, after that, he put on a big show with Collazo in Barclay. Like, people still care. They still care because now we're mad at you. Now you're a quitter and we want someone to beat you up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that heel position isn't that bad of a job, man. It still brings him in. But not entertaining the Wilder conversation for Undisputed. That hurt as a boxing fan. I'm going to just keep it real. I'm going to go ahead and open up these phone lines, man. I want to see if we're going to get anybody to call in and give us their thoughts. Again, it's Sunday. We've never really done a Sunday morning show, so I get it.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Got another super chat real quick from Alexander Wilson. It says, Chris Brown, Akon, Usher are performing at the music festival at the stadium in Saudi day before AJ Ruiz. They're putting on a show. I mean, it's a good look. Good look. It's just, I don't know. I haven't partied without a drink of alcohol. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't even drink. But when you go out, it's like the social thing to do. I've never not tried to have a sip of, you know, vodka and cran or vodka and Red Bull, even vodka and Malibu, just to, like, you know what I mean? Let loose, feel the vibe of the music. I don't know. Pretty new. What they're doing there, but I get it. I seen a lot of stuff though. I did see a lot, but we'll go ahead out to the streets.
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean. My man get a cup and put some changes.
I mean, New Jersey. I could count on my New Jersey brethren to rock out with me early in the morning. What it do?
What's going on, bro? Listen, this is like that cup of coffee, man. Shout out. This is why I say, man, the hardest man working ever, bro. I love what you do. I love this shit, man. Yo, it's the point, like, it's going back to that Thanksgiving show, and it's so sweet that it ties in together. It's a certain kind of, like, even the picture you got up there on YouTube, like, yo, bro looked like Charles Hamilton. You remember the rapper Charles Hamilton? From like 2009.
Yeah. He had that big song with Jada Kiss.
Yeah, like he just looked a little like, you know what I'm saying? He looked like yo, I know you when you be training, you know what I'm saying, yo, shave, whatever, but yo, son looked lost. Like Joshua looked lost. Like when you say he had that bully mentality, remember he was bullying Brazil, don't ever chat shit to me. He was talking crazy, you know? And I said to myself in my wildest imagination, I said, yo, the money for him is in the trilogy with Ruiz. So I would be talking cash. He should be talking shit like Broner be talking shit in the event that he does not win. So that way it's just like, hey, you know what? Let's just see if he could talk his way into a Wilder fight. But this is what he's done. His whole career, he's talked his way out of that fight. It's very disappointing to the heavyweight division, you know? He got Povetkin on his undercard again. Like he fought Povetkin. Povetkin on the undercard,
he got Povetkin
right?
versus Michael Hunter on the undercard.
And they don't even. And this is how you know Dillian Whyte got paid like step aside money or hush money or just blood money, bro. They didn't even say, yo, Dillian Whyte and Povetkin throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sure what that would benefit or hurt Whyte, but Whyte ain't got nothing to lose. So he's for what I see, like you said, he's been going at Joshua from the gate. So how all of a sudden they give him a touch, whatever touch they give him, they don't give him Povetkin, and then he's on a Joshua. It's crazy. I respect any fighter that get in the ring, but this is the shit in the politics of boxing with certain fighters that reveal shit about them, man. Like, he's a boxer, but his fighting spirit, I don't know where it is, because unless this is some kind of mind games, I don't know, but I ain't never seen before, bro. I don't know what the fuck, man. For real.
I hear you, man. I mean, thank you for calling in and participating in the early morning show on a Sunday morning. Yeah, man. Listen, place to be is right here. You want to express your frustrations, let us know how you feel. I mean, because I'm frustrated. You know, Facebook sent me a memory, and I mean, this could be taken both ways. Let's just be real. But Facebook sent me a memory of Deontay Wilder at our appreciation night in Las Vegas in 2016. Bro, we're 3 years removed from that, and he's still trying to unify. He's still being frozen out. Now, I ain't in the front. He kind of froze himself out, but there was not like there was anywhere for him to go, right? Like, at the time he announced Luis Ortiz Tyson Fury rematches, we all knew that, you know, Anthony Joshua was facing Ruiz. Then, boom, Ruiz upset Anthony Joshua, so they're tied into each other. So it's not necessarily Wilder freezing himself out, but, you know, as a Wilder fan, I was a little bit disheartened, disappointed, a little bit, you know, let down that he came out and announced these two fights that, you know, weren't Andy Ruiz or Anthony Joshua. Like, again, the way that it played out, I mean, better for Wilder to fight someone than no one, because, again, Ruiz upset Joshua and they're tied in. But, you know, there were a lot of Wilder fans not necessarily happy that he announced his next two fights back when he did, right before the AJ fight. It was like, damn, at least wait to see what happens with AJ to see if you're going to get it. But, I mean, again, speak it, believe it, receive it. The man bet on himself and not on AJ, and AJ did not win that day. So, yeah, I mean, his decision ended up being the right one. But in the moment, I wanted to hear like, oh, I'm waiting to see what's up with AJ. I'm going to the fight with AJ and Ruiz, something like that. Not announced Luis Ortiz, Tyson Fury back to back. But now it's like tables are turned again, man, and it's back in AJ's corner somehow, or at least he's assuming if he wins, the ball will be back in his corner, and he's not willing to entertain that conversation with Wilder about Undisputed, and it's definitely disappointing. We're going out to Jay Will. Talk to me. Skype, talk to me.
Hey, what's up, man? Yo, man, it's I ain't been on the show in a hot minute, man. You know, I'm up trying to put together a little entertainment stand, my little floating shelf. I'm letting you play in the background, right? And then when I hear this dude really say he's not going to entertain the Wilder conversation if he beats Ruiz, and that's a big if, it's like, I don't know if you ever played any sports, competitively-ness, or any of the callers.
Yeah. I played basketball in high school, and I played Pop Warner football and high school football.
Just so speaking to that, just the competitor in yourself, like take yourself back to those leagues when you had the chance to go up against the number one team in the league or the number one team in your high school district. You was a little bit more amped for those games. You was ready to kind of prove yourself that, you know, you got a chance to prove yourself against the best, and you get excited for it. So as any competitor, when you hear somebody have this kind of talk about the obvious next best person in their sport, it speaks larger to.
Pardon me, Jay Will. I was trying to mute Tony P. Unmute yourself. My bad. I was trying to give you clear audio quality, but muted the wrong person. Got to unmute yourself on Skype, champ. My bad.
Yes, sir. All right. But yeah, but it's like, just speaking to that, man, like when you have a chance to go against the best, man, you tend to be a little bit more animated, a little bit more excited for those chances to prove yourself against the best. And for him to just off top just say, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about it. There's something competitively wrong with his psyche, man. It's something that's just
But
not there as
you don't think it's just him playing mind games again? You know what I mean? Like
not at
he
all.
was
Not at
always
all.
arrogant with Wilder, but now after the loss, he's got the different mentality. So you don't think he's just on some is about me now? Let me worry about me now.
Now I feel you to an aspect where you talk about he has like this dark energy now or dark vibe. I get that, but that he could still display that dark vibe, that dark energy in a different way towards Wilder, other than saying I just don't even want to talk about the man. Like that's kind of weird to me as a competitor and as a true champion. You don't shy away from the obvious next best dude. You just don't.
I hear you, man. I hear you. This is exactly why I did this show, because I'm like, yo, how is this audio out here and nobody jumping on this, man? But it's like Jay-Z said, man, do you fools just listen to music or do you just skim through it? But let me get out to CYP, the triple ring, only one in history. LA, stand up.
Yo, what up? It's early over here, yo, but I appreciate you doing the show. Look, I turned my ass over in my bed, right? Looked at the clock, and I said, ain't no shows today, but let me fucking see. Boom. Now, I'm glad I did that. I got three rings, so let me use this first one to get this bullshit out the way quick so I can cook on AJ. You got that one white boy in the chat. He just said that you personally, Ness, told him in a personal conversation, don't entertain me because everybody knows I'm fake, and he never should have said that in the first place. He making it seem like you don't want the border wars, and you telling him I ain't shit behind closed doors. Now, I know you didn't say that, but I just wanted to let you know what he said about you.
Listen, I told him in the chat, and everybody heard me on the show. If you, like Bo said, you came on and you basically trying to extend the olive branch and be mature about the situation. So as a man, I want to be part of that. And I said on the show that your actions, indicate that you are trying to be mature about the situation and still want to fight. The only downside to that is that your proposal is for Vegas only. It looks like we're staying in Texas because it was just too many Texans, so they outvote us. But yeah, I definitely said if the both of you can be level-headed, why not give the public what they want? Because how many people don't call in talking about that fight, saying, man, I really wanted to see that fight. Like, you guys became something that they want to see. So, like all fighters, right? We crying right now about AJ not giving us what we want to see. So you and white boy no different. Whoever's AJ, whoever's Wilder, that's up to y'all to decide. But like if the public is calling in for two dudes they never seen fight, I mean, I think you guys should try to let bygones be bygones, what I said yesterday, and look for an amicable way of making this happen for the public. If not, then move on.
You know what? My proposal was for Vegas because it's neutral. But guess what, though? Guess what? I've came down on my negotiations this whole time. And like I said, if this man accepts the invitation, I'll go to Texas. You heard that live. I'm tired of the talking. It's time to put it to bed. CYP, the realest in history. And I'm going to show y'all I'm pound for pound the best. It doesn't matter who it is. Listen to me. The fight is on. If he wants it, I'll come to Texas. You can bring your boys. Ain't nobody worried about that. I got cats said they're going to come and make sure they don't do nothing to me, so me and you can get in that ring. So if you want it, homie, again, we ain't going to say them to each other negative after you agree. No more talking, no more disrespect, no more DMs. It'll just be me and you. Let's get ready for February. The call is out. My next two calls will be on AJ. Let's go.
CYP out. And yeah, man, I'll reiterate it. Look, man, white boy, you're from Texas, so you should feel more than comfortable and willing. You don't even have to pay for travel or room and board. So all the pressure is on CYP, and he continues to want to prove that he does what he says, right? That's one of his phrases, the Wilder phrase. I do what I say. I'm one of the guys that do what I say. So he wants to do that. Now, again, if he's willing to fly to you, I don't see why not. As long he's put his word out here on the show, so if something happens, the world will know that he couldn't keep his word. He couldn't be mature. But you have to do the same. you gotta do the same. Stay out each other DMs, man. Stay out each other. Stop DMing each other. Stop hitting each other up on social media. And see each other in the ring, man. See each other in the ring. But getting back, I'm going to go ahead and play the audio again, just in case we got any new callers this calling into the show, don't know exactly what's being said or think maybe somehow it's being twisted. This is AJ's words on a Sky Sports interview that has close to 2 million views when I took the audio. I'm sure it's over. It was at like 1.6 is what the screenshot says. So I'm pretty sure it's at around 2 million, which is phenomenal. This is a man, I think this is the only man outside of Floyd, I'm being honest, that does these type of numbers too. Like, bro, people care about him. It's crazy. We argue that he's not a bigger star than Wilder, but internet, worldwide, he's really bringing in numbers. I mean, the dude can't drop an interview or internet content without it reaching 1 million in hours or days, bro. And that's impressive. That's just impressive. There's very few fighters that can drop some internet content. Look, Broner was on a roll, even with losses. I remember he had this YouTube web series. I loved it. You know what I mean? Loved it. I even took a little clip of him freestyling. It was like something about a Corvette. He said, round around your hood like a room like a Corvette. So I know it sounds corny because I'm taking it out of context, but look, Broner has some lyrics too, man. I'm telling you. And his little web series was official. It was like a look into his life. Obviously, the problem with Broner was his whole web series was like buying clothes, shopping, mixed in with the occasional working out. Him flying on jets. So like you seen his downfall in his series. But even that wasn't getting to 1 million. His episodes were like at 250,000 when they came out. Maybe half, getting close to half. Maybe by now, which is like 3 years, 4 years removed, it's probably at 1 million. But when it dropped, I was following, I was subscribed, and it wasn't moving like AJ content, bro. AJ puts out something regularly on his own YouTube channel that blows all the time. It just does. Now again, maybe that doesn't translate into US views. Because we've seen his numbers on Showtime. Maybe it doesn't translate into U.S. pay-per-views because we've seen they haven't done a pay-per-view with him yet. But he definitely has that awareness, man. He definitely has that awareness. I don't know where, how, but it's there. Let me check sure no more boomerangs. Nope. So we're going down the list. We got GT Kid in Atlanta. What it do? Good morning.
Yo, what's going on, man?
What up?
I heard the show this morning. I mean, I think it's pretty clear. AJ has been trying to get Wilder into the ring for a couple of years now, and Wilder's just not interested in that fight. Whether it's the impossibilities of the negotiations, first it's Finkel and Wilder have a problem because there's no date, there's no venue, and they don't get that contract signed in return. Then, Hearn and AJ put together a date and a venue. I think it was April 13th in Wimbledon. And then Finkel comes out and says, don't dictate terms to us. Who are you to set a date and a venue? We negotiate that. And then we've gone round and round with the contracts and the offers. I mean, there's never been a legitimate offer with a contract and a sit down from the Wilder Finkel side. It's never happened. Just the Instagram or the, Snapchat, whatever, thing with Wilder offering $50 million. There's never been a sit down to negotiate terms or discuss anything from that side. And there's been numerous attempts from the Hearn AJ side. And then they even looped in Dazn and had a thing with Dazn, $120 million, for $120 million, you sit down with them one time and you're going to reject that offer. And the next day, after one sit down to talk about, more money than you've seen your whole career, and so
I don't understand these straw man arguments, man. People still talking about his 120 when my man made 40 million in 2 fights. 40 million in 2 fights is reported. What is everybody? Is Dan Rayfield in PBC's pocket? Did Al Heyman pay Dan Rayfield to report that? Bad left hook, they got paid to report that. Boxing scene, everybody's getting paid to report that Wilder made 20 million? The fuck is wrong with y'all? Don't you know how to add? Tell me you know how to add. Because 2 fights, 20 and 20 equals 40. How much left in that 120? 80? And he only fought 2 fights? And he's still free to do whatever the fuck he want? Come on, man. Like, you still talking about old negotiations? Are you crazy? But that's okay. That's okay. I get it. You got to paint them in a certain light. You don't want to talk about the facts. You don't want to talk about what AJ is saying right now. That hurts. Truth always hurts. So why say that? Let's bring up 2018 negotiations. Let's bring that up. Let's not talk about...
I know what I have to do now. I'm prepared to my best capability to go out and perform, and performance leads to the win. I'm not worried about Wilder.
So you're blocking all that out?
Yeah. And even after, I'm not going to entertain that conversation either.
We know why not. Because if Ruiz was a punch from the gods, Deontay's right hand is from hell. Checkmate Boxing, talk to me.
That was a good one. If Ruiz was a punch from the gods, then Wilder's a punch from hell. I love it. Hey, what was that caller's name that just got off?
GT Kid in Atlanta.
GT Kid. If you got a Twitter, put your Twitter name in the text, and I will send you all the information, all the videos, all the confirmation you need to know regarding the validity of the 50 million 50-50 that Eddie Hearn sat down had many conversations, with Al Heyman, and they answered all questions. I expect that from someone from UK, but an American, I can't take this shit. So I will checkmate you 1, 2, 3 X's go, and you go away for life. Now, also, I want to commend you. Yes, I heard you. I've been with family, so I wasn't able to call in, but I heard you on a call earlier this week when you were saying, "Oh, AJ, his mind is gone. Look at where is he mentally? He's defeated." You was welcome to the side, brother. I welcome you aboard. Didn't I say that? I said that about that before the first fight, right? And I also said that about this current fight. Because he's a pleaser, he's feeling shame and embarrassment and guilt and so much that he let down a nation. And this person, he's trying to put forth this act. Now, remember, him saying, everything he said before, and now what he's saying now,
Thank you for calling in. Arizona, Checkmate Boxing, stand up. Thanks for that call. We're going out to Mastermind in the New Orleans. NO, talk to us.
Ooh. Check this out, Ness. I'm an audio side. I'm good. Am I right?
You good.
All right, look, check this out, dog. I don't think Josh will get it started Wilder. I just don't see it, bro. It's like
I never said that. I never said that shit. I never said that. I'm just saying that he do numbers. He do numbers. And I don't see anyone else doing it. And I'm just trying to say this. I don't see anyone else in boxing other than Mayweather, or let's just say I don't see anyone active, not even Pacquiao, do internet numbers like AJ. On IG, anything he dropped, do $1 million. And on YouTube, anything he dropped, get very close to $1 million or above it. I'm going to actually pull up his channel while you talk.
All right, look, check this out. How many people do Floyd Mayweather hate on purposely in boxing?
I mean, a laundry list.
Not a laundry list, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if Floyd Mayweather going out his way to hate on you, dog, I mean, that's no power within itself in boxing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you see him hate Floyd.
That's one thing I look at.
But you see Floyd hate on Oscar. You see Floyd hate on Wilder. You see Floyd hate on who he just hated on? Pacquiao. Wait, Floyd hates on Pacquiao. Oh, 50.
That's another superstar. Pacquiao, another superstar. That's another star. You feel me? And Broner back in the gap, which if you call some of that hating, you call some of that shit Broner brought on himself, but like, man, that's everybody with a big name. Like, he going out the way to You know what I'm saying? The hate on that shit. So, I mean, from what I see, dog, I think Wilder the biggest stuff, bro.
Bruh,
You know,
AJ,
I think Wilder got a better connection
YouTube
with the
channel.
people. Who got the better connection with the people?
AJ YouTube channel did 3 million views this month, and he put out one video, bruh. I mean, like, is one video here.
I don't see what it. Yeah, I guess.
So he put out one video and made, and that was a week ago, right? He put out one video this month and made 1.4 million, but all his other videos that's already been out brought in the other 1.6 to total. Well, I mean, 1.9 because he got a total of 3.3 million views for this month. And that's off one video, bro. Like, come on, man. Now that's just YouTube.
Yeah,
Let's go to IG.
So you saying it's like comparing Drake to Meek Mill? That's what you saying?
Yeah, I mean, somebody when they talk, people listening. It's just the bottom line, you know. I'm not saying they ain't listening to Wilder.
I see a lot of people listening to the Wilder too. Like, when you want to kill them off.
Again, I'm not saying they not. I'm not saying they not. What I'm saying is, my man getting more numbers. All right, we gonna do it. We gonna compare. I'm gonna put you on hold. I'm gonna compare. I'm gonna screen share this shit real quick. Here we are. We on AJ's Instagram, bro. I don't even know. Y'all shouldn't do this, man, because it ain't fair. He been popping longer. Look, he got 9.9 million followers. Now people in the chat talking about, oh, those Eddie Hearn bots. Look at this video, bro. 2.3 million views. When this drop? This dropped November 23rd. What's that? 7-8 days ago? Bruh, he ain't even put he put software update. He ain't even put in like no caption, man. The dude's a hitman. Look, this is the one I seen with JD Sports where he drew a picture of Andy Ruiz. He got over 500,000 right there. That's a video. But let's check the chant. Bronze. Where he at? Come right up. Let's see. Boom. Ooh, the milli on the highlight reel. Almost a milli on the training day video. This is not that's a picture, so let's just stick to video. Right here, the Brazil. Look, Brazil ain't even make $1 million on his own channel. And that's the knockout. This right here, 800,000. Let's see. We need a video. This is another video. Look, 300,000. Another video, 500,000. I'm telling you, the millions ring off harder on AJ. And Deontay Wilder doesn't have a YouTube channel. But let's go to YouTube. Let's look for Deontay Wilder's. We're gonna search them both. Let's go. Deontay. Excuse me. Wilder. Let's just see what comes up. And let's do filter. Matter of fact, let's leave it as is. Look, a week ago. Now this isn't a Wilder channel. This is a dude that made a video on Wilder, and he killed it. In a week, he got almost 3 million. Multimedia? No. Or multimedia? I don't know. Doesn't say multimedia, but whatever. I've seen that channel around. They do beautiful kind of voiceover videos where they collage footage. Very dangerous of them using all other people's footage, but they make it very well. And look, in a week, it says opponents before and after fighting Deontay Wilder. So not only is it a great title, but it is moving. That's big numbers. Now, also his it says Deontay Wilder defeats Luis Ortiz, and this is a 5-minute video, and this is just a breakdown of the fight, and that's at 1 million in a week. So that's strong. That's very strong. Joe Rogan talking about Wilder's crazy KO in 3 days at 1 million. Another strong. And then, now that's 4 years ago. 1 week ago, Eddie Hearn on IFL. Let me see. Deontay Wilder knocking out Luis Ortiz. And that got 250,000. 25%. Nope. Bonus. Nope. Damn. Look, but that's 4 months ago. Wow. This same dude did a video, said opponents before and after Manny Pacquiao, and that was 4 months ago. And that video's at 6 million. Wow. Oh, now look, Wilder Ortiz 1. They released it 3 weeks ago. That's at 1.5. So, I mean, he's definitely doing numbers, but he doesn't have his own channel for us to gauge, right? AJ has his own channel, but now let's see Anthony Joshua's search term and what comes up. Well, on YouTube, at least for me, Wilder destroyed him on the search term. I mean, you search Anthony Joshua and nothing in the millions comes up. Not to say that he doesn't have them out there, but it's just nothing recent. Even though his own video should be here because it had 1.4 last week. Okay, here goes the zone with 2.3 in a week. Here goes another one. Wow, 5. Oh, no, that's 1,000. That's 1,000. That's not millions. Here goes another one, and this is a week ago. This is Anthony Joshua's channel at 1.6 in a week. So definitely less than Wilder, but Wilder just fought. And that's the beauty of it. If you're Wilder, that's the beauty of it. You know that worked the last time. By fighting right before AJ, he really messed with AJ's head. AJ came out and said that, he went into that Ruiz fight with the Wilder performance on the mind and trying to outdo that Wilder performance. And, he's a competitor because when Wilder fought Dominic Brazil, he said, I did it in 7. Let's see what Wilder does. He tried to make it a competition, and Wilder blew that out the water. So the pressure was on him. And once again, the pressure's on him. Wilder has a fantastic come from behind one punch knockout, and now all the eyes are turned to AJ. I do believe those search terms for YouTube will grow after the fight. Obviously, it depends on performance. And that's why Wilder's, popularity continues to rise because his performances demand, it's a must share. And what that means is when you see the knockout, you share it. People repost it because they're that devastating. You know what I mean? It's all over the place. Like on our Instagram, which a lot of you guys really should follow us on Instagram. We shouldn't have 100,000 plus people on YouTube and only 50,000 on Instagram because we post a lot of news on Instagram there as well. Anyway, that being said, I reposted Justin Bieber posting Deontay Wilder. So the crossover is starting to happen. But again, you got to believe and you got to admit that AJ's crossover's been there. He's been with mainstream media and mainstream superstars. But let's get back to these callers, man. Might have to do more morning shows on Sundays. This is lit up. We got Edward in Alabama. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on this morning, man? Yes, appreciate the show.
No problem.
I noticed how everybody was like that dude in Atlanta or whatever his name is. I think that's that dude Chris or whatever. He's
no. That's GT Kid. Chris is another one. This is GT Kid in Atlanta.
Oh, so like I said, I'm close to Atlanta, so I know they drink a lot of that sewage water, so it's all good, man. But straight up, man, the thing about it is we're here. That's why I want Anthony Joshua to lose. I want him to lose again because this guy, it's just like you can't root for him for nothing. Good, he's famous and all this stuff, but his attitude is complete garbage. He's not a real champion. I hope Andy Ruiz go out and beat him up, even though it's going to be completely stacked against him. He's in Saudi Arabia. I don't know what the hell is going to be going on over there. It's just, but I believe in his ability enough that it don't matter where the venue is, he's going to beat AJ again. And if that happens, that'll be perfect. Because if AJ wins, we might as well just forget about ever figuring out who's the best out of the group. Because he's going to run back to England or wherever he's from and sit there and own them belts. And that's why we as fans got to devalue these belts. They can't mean nothing because at the end of the day, if Wilder beats Tyson Fury, he is the heavyweight champion. I don't care who else is carrying belts unless Ruiz wins and then they match up. That's the only viable other target I see in the heavyweight division. This type of talk from AJ, for anybody to be a boxing fan and think this is acceptable, y'all need to start being fans of the sport Stop fucking being divas running behind a guy because you think it's some cute. But this is not boxing. If you're the best, then you fight guys. You don't talk about who you're going to avoid because you out of his mouth.
Edward and Bama, thanks for calling in. Since we're talking AJ, December 7th, the fight takes place in Saudi Arabia. I just received a super chat from Rockman that says, is it true Lil Wayne got arrested for weed in Saudi? I'm going to assume he's talking Saudi Arabia. A quick Google search 12 minutes ago. Hip-hop says here, no, I don't want any freaking notifications. hotnewhiphop.com is reporting that Lil Wayne calls out Rada for almost getting arrested for drugs. The report indicates that Lil Wayne sent out a now deleted tweet, but obviously they have it here because you can't escape the internet, which says, never going to Rada again. But I guess the princess took care of Lil Wayne as he is not arrested. But this allegedly stems from Lil Wayne attempting to try to smoke weed at the venue when that's completely illegal. But yeah, shout out to fucking Wayne, man. Like, yo, how you want me over there? You know I smoke, but you don't want me to smoke. Why you even invite me? I'm a superstar. Why invite me if you ain't gonna break the rules for me? You know that's what I do on a regular. So shout out to Wayne. At least look. So that means he got the smoke. For all you people that say you can't smoke and all, that means he got the fucking smoke and got up out of there. They ain't arrested his ass because I heard a few people, like a less famous DJ got arrested and didn't get out. So shout out to the power of social media. Once he posted that, you know, Rada wasn't trying to have that with a big weekend of festivities on as headlines. So they didn't want to deal with Lil Wayne being arrested over there for something that in America is legal, right? In most states at this point. But going down the line, let me see. Phone lines are lit for real. We going to Boomerang in Detroit. Talk to me.
Straight to the point for those with attention deficit. I'm so repetitive, so I gotta repeat. Stainless from the streets to the deep. I'm coming with that heat. All you need to know about me, I'm coming with that heat.
Stainless, good morning. Ness? What it do?
You know, man. Another beautiful day. Another beautifully rolled blunt. Happy Sunday to you. Thanks for the Sunday show. Maybe you should do them. You know, most of us are either off on Sunday or off on Sunday day. That's me. Not that I won't be calling in later. Joshua, he picked up that speak it, believe it, receive it from Wilder, didn't he? Because he don't even want to think about Wilder right now. So that's a good sign that he know even if he think it, he can't beat that. He can't beat Wilder, man. That's what's up, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I don't blame that dude for not thinking about it wanting to get near Wilder right now. I mean, even if he beats Ruiz, like, it's still a lot of touching up that he needs to do as far as his skill, especially if he's gonna step in there with one punch man. So, you know what I'm saying? I guess I respect him for that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with knowing your limitations. Well, but that's all I got for that, man. As I always say, please make sure you push the thumbs up. Share this in every episode of the Boxing Voice podcast because it's TBV for life. And if you ain't on Patreon, that's because you're stupid. Shout out to El Camino. Peace.
So Moulton got back to me. He actually said he actually said he's too much noise in the background. He might still be out there partying. I'm sorry for the dead silence, as I might have us another little interview. You never know. TBV always working. What we got? Tony P, what up?
What's good, Ness?
What up?
Real quick, man. I keep up with the morning joints, man. It's a good look, man. But I just want to say I feel bad for Joshua, bro. I think Hearn put him in a really tough position, and I I don't think AJ cut like that, man. Like, we see Wilder's, like, whether you like Wilder or not, I think it's easy to see that the man's a beast. He wants all the smoke. He loves a challenge, and he's not scared of nothing. I don't see AJ as that kind of guy. He's real pampered. He tough, but he kind of soft. So I don't know, man. I don't see it going well for AJ. Whenever it's next week or the week after, man. I don't know. I
Should
don't
be
see it,
next
though.
week, man. Next Saturday is the big one. Can't wait.
I don't see it, brother. But keep up the good work, man.
Tony P, thanks for the kind words. Thank you for calling in. We're going out to Rue in the 504. Talk to me.
Yeah, what's going on? Good morning, bro.
Morning.
I think discussing AJ's popularity is very relevant. I guess to at least a point that I'm gonna make. We're gonna go back to square one if he does beat Ruiz next Saturday, because AJ, like it or not, the fact of the situation is he already had a very comfortable situation set up in the UK where he can fight anybody, fill those stadiums out, and make millions of dollars. For the fight fans, that didn't do us any good because he did not need to entertain Wilder, and that fact will still remain if he beats Ruiz. He already has a situation set up or a career that he might be more comfortable with. I mean, like it or not, that's where we're going to end up back at square one. I mean, I never thought that either of these two guys would ever fight anyway. This is Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe all over again to me. So if he beats Ruiz next Saturday, that fight's still never going to happen. So it is what it is. It sucks. He doesn't need to entertain Wilder because he has a good setup for himself. And that's it. That's my call.
Rue in the 504. Thank you for calling in. We're going to have a quick treat, spontaneous interview. I've been communicating with him in the background for some days now, trying to find a availability. So shout out to a true boxing fan that is willing to talk on a Sunday with us. No different than you and I. I bring you Iceman John Scully. Iceman obviously is a former American boxer. Obviously, he was ranked in the light heavyweight division. Now he's a boxing trainer, trained the likes of Chad Dawson and others. ESPN television analyst. Mr. Scully, good morning. How are you? What it do?
Everything's good, my man. How you doing?
Good. It's been a long time, man. Obviously, you've been on the podcast numerous of times, and I've interviewed you, throughout some of your fights. But it's been a minute since we have conversed. How are you doing? What's cooking for you? Let us know.
Everything's good. I've just been keeping busy. I just came back from the fight with Arthur Beterbiev. He defended his title, and he won the WBC title. Stopping Gavadzik. So I'm just waiting basically to hear when his next fight will be so we can go back to training camp. I'm hearing that it's going to be in China against a ranked contender over there.
Yeah, Fei Long.
I should know more in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, that's him. And so it's a long flight, but, I'm looking forward to it.
So I thought Ramsey, are you playing, are you part of the team? I thought, what was his name? Mark Ramsey.
Mark is the trainer. Mark is his head trainer. And I go and I do pad work with him and, work with him on technique and different things like that. And, and I help in the corner on fight night.
Okay, all right. That's interesting that he brought in a second for us, to give another look. That's cool. I know Mark for a long time now. Didn't know that. I remember Beterbiev fought in Chicago, and I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I was there.
Really? See, because I was there for the press conference and stuff. I didn't see you. I seen Mark, but interesting.
Yeah.
Hey,
I've been with him for about almost 4 years.
Oh wow. Okay. That's good. Yeah. So let's ask you some questions because I don't know. Is he chinny? He's been dropped by like guys that we don't really know their name. Or was that just like an accident?
He went down twice. He went down twice. What I would call flash knockdowns. He got up and knocked out both guys. So I mean. I mean, he recovered extremely quickly and didn't waste any time in ending the fight. So actually, those guys knocking him down actually probably was the worst thing they could have done because he gets a little mad. But I mean, one thing about Arthur, his whole intention is to get you out of there. Like his whole focus is knockout. So with that comes vulnerability because you're opening yourself up constantly, to counter shots. And so he got caught, but he's in tremendous shape, so he recovers extremely quickly. And like I say, he knocked both guys out right after he went down. He got up and they were out of there.
So listen, like this particular show, which, I'm just going to let you know what we're talking about. I don't want your opinion just yet, but this is Joshua coming out verbally saying that he doesn't even want to entertain the Wilder unification conversation, even after he beats Ruiz Jr. He's blocking Wilder out. So the only reason I bring that up is because this is audio that's been out for a week and no one's really focused on those words. Similar to another interview that Canelo Alvarez did with ESPN Deportes, which is Spanish. I'm bilingual. I'm Dominican. So I picked up on something that he said. When talking to Kovalev, see, everyone went directly to him and his thoughts on Kovalev. But when he spoke of Kovalev and making that fight on ESPN Deportes, right before that, he said he wanted the Beterbiev fight. But Beterbiev already had a fight. Now, many people believe that he will not fight Beterbiev, but me hearing him say that was the fight that they wanted, also hearing his trainer say that, I think that maybe it's a possibility. I don't know. Maybe they could, change their mind after watching his latest performance, which was a unification with Vazdek. But obviously with Canelo having that 175-pound WBO title, you must be looking at him as a possible opponent, which, doubles as a Willy Wonka ticket. But what is your thoughts? Do you think Canelo would ever face Arthur Beterbiev at 175?
I don't think so. And here's the thing. The fact of the matter is, like in boxing, any fighter can say anything they want, and they may even believe it and mean it. But it's not just the fighter, it's the promoter and the managers. There's people behind the scenes with a lot of money invested. So Canelo may in his heart say, yeah, I want to fight Arthur. I want to test myself against the best. But his people are going, listen, relax. We got a lot of money invested here. We'll tell you what you're going to do. Because and that's the reality. Like fighters.
But is that Canelo's reality though, John? Is that Canelo's reality? Canelo's reality. Let me just inform you. Canelo's reality is Golden Boy telling him, "We don't want you to fight Austin Trout, the southpaw, undefeated, after beating Miguel Cotto." Canelo said, "I'll fight him." Canelo's reality is Golden Boy telling him, "We don't want you to fight another southpaw in Islandri Lara with the Cuban background." Canelo fought him. Lara went to his press conference, embarrassed him. Canelo fought him. They didn't want him to fight Mayweather. Yeah. Canelo fought him. Obviously, the world didn't think he would fight Gennady. He fought him twice. And then no one thought he was going to move up 2 divisions to fight Kovalev. So I don't know. Are you sure you want to say he won't do it?
Well, let me say this. And you tell me, because I don't know for sure, but I would imagine his newest contract, which is a mega contract, if he loses, does that nullify the contract?
I don't think if he loses, it nullifies the contract because Canelo's going to be a star, win or lose. We're talking AJ. He suffered a loss, and I'm arguing that he's bigger than ever. I mean, anything he drops does over 1 million on any social media platform, whether that be Instagram or YouTube.
But I'm saying they may have a clause there which would make perfect sense. Like, we're going to give you, I don't know how much the contract was for, but I remember it was an astronomical amount.
Yeah, $365 million.
Right. So, you can't be losing and expect them to keep paying that. They want them to win. So I don't know. But, I think just knowing boxing, like I say, the boxing people behind them are smart. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example. I remember a time, now James Toney. James Toney would fight anyone, and he did fight anyone. He fought anyone. He fought everyone, right? No fear whatsoever. If you challenged him, he was going to fight you right there in the parking lot. And I remember, very tricky guy, you know him, John David Jackson. John David Jackson is a very underrated technical boxer, you know, very slick. And I remember being in camp with James, and you know, there was talk of James fighting John David. And Jackie Callan was like, yeah, we'll fight. And, you know, James was like, yeah, I'll kill him, you know, and everything. And I remember Bill Miller, is, you know, brilliant coach, trainer, one of the best trainers ever in the game. And he told me, he said, listen, Jackie, she don't know. Like, we're not fighting John David Jackson. You know, that boy's slick. He's slick. We're not fighting him right now. We'll make him wait. So, you know, there's always someone there with a little bit of sense. I mean, to fight Arthur now, you know, if he fights Arthur and gets wiped out, people who still have to pay him all that money, they're not going to be very pleased. So I don't know. I mean, I believe in Canelo. I believe he's fearless, and I, you know, I was one of the few people who, you know, really saw him way back where I thought he could beat Canelo. Everybody was telling me like Kovalev's too big, too strong, and you know, I think that Canelo's used his size. His lack of size to his advantage. You know, he used it and he countered Canelo in a way that Canelo wasn't used to fighting bigger light heavyweights. So Canelo would be a problem. I mean, you know, if he fought Arthur, you know, I wouldn't be like, oh, we're gonna kill him, we're gonna crush this guy. I mean, you really would have to be on your AAA game, you know, to beat him. But it's just in my mind. I mean, Arthur's unusually strong. Like.
What do you say his walk around weight is? Because I think that would be the biggest issue in the contract. Canelo seems to give bigger men a rehydration clause, which is I guess okay when you're making a super fight. But if you're a natural 175 pounder and now you just, I mean, excuse me, if you're a guy that just defeated a natural 175 pounder and now you're the champion, I don't think it would be fair to ask Arthur to have a rehydration clause, but it's something that Canelo does. So what's Arthur's walk-around weight?
Right. Like, if I remember correctly, like, he's 85. Like, he doesn't get to be huge. Like, and you got to understand, Arthur Beterbiev is a different human being.
Way.
Like, he doesn't...
Come on, John. 10 pounds above fighting weight, walk-around weight? Come on.
He doesn't get out of shape. This guy is so unusual. Like 185, 190. I know that heavyweight. Eric Harding used to weigh 220 between fights. Arthur would never allow that. Like, he does not. He's a different type. You understand? This dude is a devout Muslim. He's very super disciplined. Like, there is no to think that he would get that heavy. You know, he would look at you like you're crazy. Like, this is what he would say. I'm a professional. This is what I do. I don't get heavy. I don't eat junk food. I don't, you know, fool around. I don't stay out of the gym. You know, he's in the gym every day. Like, he'll fight and he'll go back to the gym, training, working out. You know, but the thing is, I mean, on a similar, you know, on a related thing, like the catch weights and the hydration clause. I mean, if you're going to fight a guy, you've got to fight him. Like hydrate. Like, okay, you're saying, okay, I could beat you, and I want to beat you, but only if you don't gain a certain amount of weight. I want to inhibit you. I want to hold you back a little bit. You know, get you to a bit of a disadvantage mentally and physically, and then I can beat you.
Technically speaking,
like if you can't fight the guy, then don't fight him.
Technically speaking, John, Arthur already has a rehydration clause every time he defends his IBF title. They don't allow you to be 10 pounds within the weight limit the next day. So there's a morning after weigh-in that Arthur already abides by. Now, whether or not...
my point is that shouldn't happen. That, like, you're asking a guy...
Well, that's the IBF rules.
Okay, you tell me... Right, I'm saying, you're telling me that, you know, whoever it is, the IBF, whoever thought that idea up, obviously wasn't a fighter at any time in their life.
But think about it, John. They don't want you to be weight bullying. If you weigh more than 10 pounds within the weight, that means that you don't belong at that weight. Why are you 22 pounds above the weight? Go fight at another division.
Hey, look at that's how boxing is. Fighters will get down. They're gonna get even if you made the weigh-in and they've done it in Massachusetts. On club shows, they used to weigh in the '90s. If the show was at 7:00, the weigh-in would be at 5.
Yeah,
for a professional fight, guys would have to.
And the WBC changed that, John. The WBC changed that because people were getting hurt. Fighters already sucked down 2-3 divisions below what they're supposed to be fighting at just to be multi-division champions.
Look, I'll tell you the mentality of a fighter. You could make the weigh-in an hour before you step in the ring. The guys are still going to try and get down to the lower weight. They're not going to go up. That's a fighter's mentality.
And that's why the IBF stepped in, John. They said, "All right, you guys want to be smarter than us? Well, we're going to do a second day weigh-in." But here's the tricky part. If it's a unification, which it will be because Canelo has a WBO and Arthur Beterbiev has the IBF and WBC, that rule with the IBF is null and void because it's a unification. But Canelo typically likes to enforce the rule anyway if you want the fight with the Willy Wonka ticket.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, if that's what they do, that's what they do. I mean, I have no say, I have no power, no influence. You know, they tell me what's going to happen. But as a fighter, I don't agree with it. I just don't. You know, if you're gonna, like, I understand wanting to fight the best guy. You know, you move up, you want to fight this guy but to limit it somehow, like I'm trying. If I'm moving up, I'm beating this particular guy, whoever he is. Now, if I'm going to say, okay, I can beat you, but you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to weigh this by a certain time, you know, it's just, to me, it's just not real. It's not real. But you know, I mean, I'm sure they'll work it out because it's a huge fight. It would be a huge fight, and the money will be too much to pass up. But you know, I think of guys like, you know, Duran moved up and fought Hagler, and you know, there was no, you know, make him come in at 152, and you know, you get Chris Bird moves up to heavyweight, and he's still a natural 175, and he's fighting Klitschko and doing well in the fight, you know, making Klitschko miss, and you know, there was no weight clause, and no, I admire guys like that. I admire guys who just say, you know, okay, let's fight, whatever it is, let's fight. I admire that. You know, the businessmen, and you know, this is an era where, you know, it's becoming more and more prevalent where there's stipulations, and you know, I don't like it. You know, I just don't like it. As a boxing person, I don't like it.
Well, let's turn our attention.
I think it drains it a bit.
Let's turn our attention to a division that doesn't allow for any of those politics. There are no rehydration clause. There are no catch weights. But if you do admire people that just fight and don't have any of those stipulations in the contracts, you must admire Deontay Wilder, that usually comes in giving anywhere from 50 to 30 pounds up when he faces any of the other heavyweights. First and foremost, what did you think of his performance with Luis Ortiz, the rematch?
I mean, you know what? I used to not be a fan of him because of, you know, some of the things he says about Muhammad Ali and Tyson. You know, I think he goes a little overboard. You know, I think he's disrespectful in a certain way, maybe even unrealistic to history. But the guy, you know, love him or hate him, Deontay Wilder, and I know a lot of people who really don't like him, you know, on a personal level, who know him and they don't like him. But I'll say this: he's everything you could want. He's got power. He's a bit, you know, he's perceived as a big guy, but he's not. He only weighs 220 or whatever he weighs. You know, he's outweighed, but he's got that fight-ending power. He's got the killer instinct of a Tyson. He wants to kill you at all times. and he's always there to bring entertainment. So love him or hate him, I mean, you gotta respect Deontay Wilder. I mean, everything that people, casual boxing fans especially, everything they starve for, he brings it. He's like the perfect guy. And even I thought, even though I thought he lost to Fury, just the fact that he came back at the end of the fight the way he did to drop Fury, was incredible. He didn't give up, and he had that power and he had that determination. So I'm a fan. I'm not a fan of some of the things he says sometimes, but I'm a fan. I mean, he's what boxing is all about, and people should embrace him because every time he fights, he's going to bring it, and it's going to be exciting, and you're going to see something special. And his power. I mean, people look. They romanticize the old days. You look at Foreman, and when Foreman fought Ali, Foreman was like 40-0 with 38 knockouts, and just vicious and all these things. But you look at Deontay has surpassed that. I mean, he's bigger, he's taller, he's got more wins, more knockouts. His record is phenomenal. Even compared to Foreman, when Foreman was considered the big bad monster. So I think we're in a good time. The heavyweights.
Wait, John, I need you to give me a history lesson because I don't know history. So you're saying that the level of opposition of George Foreman coming up and the level of Deontay Wilder are equal? Because I don't know my history. Obviously I watched Thriller Manila.
I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying numbers wise and size wise.
Okay.
When
Statistics.
When Ali said, "I'm fighting this big bad monster," right? And he's talking about Foreman, and Foreman was considered, gigantic at the time, big man. Now Foreman's wouldn't even be a big guy, compared to Klitschko and Fury and all these guys. They make Foreman look small, whereas back then, Ali was faced with the biggest, baddest monster ever to hit the scene. And like I said, just numbers wise, Wilder is there. And, Wilder says he's the biggest puncher of all time. A lot of people get crazy when he says that. But, and he hasn't knocked out Joe Frazier, and he hasn't knocked out Ken Norton and Bonavina. And I understand that. But, he's trying to. He's certainly trying. He's going out there and love, like I say, love him or hate him. You're going to get a heavyweight who's trying to entertain you. He's trying to decapitate the other guy, just like Tyson used to do. So I think and with him and Joshua and Fury, it's a great time for heavyweights. I haven't been interested in the heavyweights 20 years. I haven't cared at all about the heavyweight division. Now, in the last 6 months or 7 months or so, it's the first time I could say in 20 years that I've really been interested in what's going on in that division.
So, as Latinos like to say, who's your gallo in the division? Who's your man? Who are you picking to be standing when the dust settles?
And it's a wild card because you don't know what he's going to do. He's kind of a nut, I guess. But if each guy was at his best, he came in and he was right and he was in his groove, I don't think any of them could beat Tyson Fury when he's on his game. But I think there's I know for a fact he's admitted it, he's done it. I mean, there's some psych issues and emotional issues, and so you don't know where this guy's coming from. But I think, I was one of the few people, I remember when he fought Klitschko, I picked him to win. And everybody said, "Oh, you're crazy, what are you doing?" And I said, listen, that style, being that tall and being that cocky and he's fluid for a big man. He uses his feet and his legs, and he lets his hands go. It's a hard thing for heavyweights to deal with because they're not used to even sparring with guys who bring those problems. He beat Klitschko exactly as I felt he would. Because Klitschko just wasn't used to that level of output and fluidness and all these things. So I think stylistically, Fury, when he's on his game, but you just can't count on him because you don't know what's going on in his head and what he's going to bring on that particular day. But other than that, I mean, Wilder, you can't discount anything because that's all weight classes, but especially with the heavyweights. I mean, skills skills pay the bills and all that, but power equalizes it. Power can annihilate skills literally in a flash, in one punch. So I think guys are more skilled than Wilder. A lot of guys are more skilled than Wilder, but the simple fact is they just can't take his power and his determination. So I like, if everybody was at their best stylistically, I think Fury would beat everybody. But I think right now Wilder's the man. Wilder's the king.
And what do you think he has to do to get the win? But before you answer that, do you remember what rounds you gave to Fury?
Against Wilder?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like one to just people write out a scorecard and they have it, Yeah, I watch it. I go, look, this guy won or that guy won, and so I don't remember round by round. I don't have it written down or anything like that. Just watching it, I just felt like Fury was winning. And if he didn't get knocked down, was it twice or once he got knocked down?
9th round, 12th round.
Right. Obviously, if he didn't get knocked down, he would have won. But it is what it is. That's the beauty of power. Power equalized things, and Wilder was able to get a draw out of it because of his power and his determination, and he never gave up. And so I wish they would be fighting again quickly because that was probably the most interesting heavyweight fight I've seen in years. Like, that was a heavyweight fight where I was actually, when they say, I very rarely am at the edge of my seat watching a fight. Like, a lot of people say, I'm at the edge of my seat, and I very rarely find myself in that position. But for that fight, I was like, man, it's crazy. Like, you never know what's going to happen in this fight. Like, round to round, it's just the ebb and flow was great. I would love to see those two guys fight again.
Man,
sure.
I don't know about ebb and flow. I scored it, and I'm a Wilder fan, so I got depressed right about after the 3rd round is when, in my opinion, Fury just took off. And I'm with you.
No, he was winning. Yeah, but, with Wilder, like I say, the power, you could, John Tate, Mike Weaver, John Tate beating him 15 rounds in a row, and 15 seconds to go in the last round, he gets annihilated. And so every once in a while, Wilder wasn't winning rounds, I didn't think, but he's landing some shots, and he's, and you're always saying, man, as good as Fury's doing, like, if he gets blasted here, this whole fight will change with one punch. And and every once in a while, Wilder would land these shots, and you could see the effects of it. While Fury was able to hide it, but he didn't hide it 100%. Like, I could see little indications that he really felt these particular shots. But for me, that was an edge.
90 seconds.
I mean, if Wilder didn't have the level of power he did, it wouldn't have been an edge of your seat fight for me personally. But just like it happened in the last round, I mean, out of nowhere, this freaking bomb lands, and I thought when Fury went down, I thought he might be not knocked out, but I thought he might be dead.
Wow.
That was my first thought, was he's dead. And then I said, there was like a split
60
seconds. I remember specifically thinking, I can't believe this. Like, he's winning this fight and he's knocked out with 30 seconds to go. Like, I honestly thought he was out. And by the same token, there was a big controversy, but I don't see it. I thought he clearly got up in time. He made it up. There was no long count. He made it up, which is to me, unbelievable, because I thought for sure, if you would have freeze framed it and said, okay, what's going to happen? I would have said, no way he gets up. He doesn't even move for a minute. And he got up. Just that last round alone should have called for a rematch. I mean, I feel bad that it hasn't happened, because that's one of the fights in boxing that I really,
10
really would
seconds.
have thought was a rematch between those two guys.
Well, we are getting it now that Wilder got through the Ortiz fight. They have contracts signed. We had Deontay Wilder on the show a couple days ago this week, and he confirmed that they've both signed. The date is February 22nd, 2020. He says he has more than enough time. He's going to take maybe 2 weeks to go to Italy. He'll be back in training camp in December. So as a trainer, what do you think he needs to do to ensure the win? Deontay Wilder.
I think he needs to use the jab quite a bit more. A guy with his build and his jab. He has a good jab, but he doesn't use it nearly enough as he should. I think the jab. Anytime you fight a guy, as elusive as Fury, and the way he utilizes his upper body and everything, you've got the jab, especially at the chest and the neck and the lower chin, doubling and tripling it up. And I know Mark. I mean, Mark's a smart boxing guy, Mark Breland, and I know Mark's going to be, trying to get that to happen. But the jab and the double and the triple jabs, I think need to be way more prevalent in this fight to make it easier for him.
Are you of the mindset of the Wilder fans that say, "Oh, he's perfect in his rematches. He's going to do it in less time"? Because Stavern went 12, then he got knocked out in 1. Ortiz went 11 or 10 and got knocked out in 7 now.
Right. Yeah, I don't listen to stuff. That doesn't mean anything. Like, that's just. It's interesting, and it's, people say, oh yeah, that's true, and but it means something until it doesn't, and I don't think I wouldn't. Matter of fact, if I was a betting person, I wouldn't bet on it just because he did it to those two other guys. I mean, Fury's a different guy, and like I say, I mean, he in that first fight, Fury was I'm sure he's kicking himself for getting caught late in the fight, because I mean he fought such a good fight, and he was so confident in fighting such a good fight. He really executed it extremely well. He was really in a groove that night. I know he's kicking himself for getting caught late in the fight, but Wilder's going to have to, if that's going to happen, if he's going to have a much better rematch, I think the double and the triple jab is going to be a big part of it, just as much or probably more than the power aspect of it will be.
Now, what do you think of either man's competition to the rematch, right? So Wilder faces Dominic Breazeale, gets a 1-round knockout. Then he faces Luis Ortiz, get a 7-round knockout. Two guys that really, in my opinion, I'm no trainer, that's why I got you on the show, but two guys that don't prepare you for Tyson Fury's style. And then Tyson Fury faces a southpaw in Otto Wallin and both unknown Otto Wallin and Tom Schwartz, which don't prepare him for Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. How about yours?
Well, I'll say this. It's hard to find a guy as awkward and elusive as a heavyweight as Fury is. That's one reason why I picked him to beat Klitschko, because I was saying, who's Klitschko even going to spar with to help him prepare for this guy? There's nobody that he could even box with in the gym that fights like this. So there was that aspect of it. And then you say, okay, to spar, to fight Wilder, I need to fight in this extremely tall guy with super punching power. Who am I going to get? It's hard to find somebody like that. So both guys, I think, are gonna have trouble finding people to really replicate each other. So they're gonna have to do other work in the gym. The trainers are gonna have to really be on their games, to find other ways than just the sparring to prepare them for these particular styles.
Now, Wilder says he's gonna target the eye of Fury that Ottawa Wallin opened up. Do you think it's been enough time for Fury to heal properly by February where that eye won't open up so easily, Rafael, I guess, Marquez style? Or is it Vasquez? I think it's
Right.
Marquez.
As I understand, I had a couple bad cuts in my career, and I remember we'll put it this way: I fought Tim Littles on November 13th, 1992, and I got cut really badly in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. I fought Tony Thornton in March, so December, January, March, so 4 months later. All of the cuts opened up in the first round, like literally just opened up. They were bad to begin with. I went to a plastic surgeon. He had to fix one of them because there was some crazy medication that was stuck in the glove and in the cut. He said, generally speaking, a cut heals 1% a day. So you need 100 days, and probably a little bit more, but at least 100 days for it to heal 100%. That was his recommendation. That was his synopsis. So, but with that speaking, I mean, you get a guy with power like Deontay Wilder hitting. Skin is just it's tissue. It's soft tissue. It's not steel. So when you have a cut like that and a scar, there's going to be a scar. It's always going to be vulnerable. A doctor may say it's healed after 100 days, but I think once there's a tear, there's a susceptibility there that's probably going to be permanent. So yeah, that's a factor, and I hope it isn't. I mean, the worst thing in the world to me is, especially a super fight, being stopped on a cut or a technical decision. These type of things. I hope the cut does not become any kind of factor. I think most people would agree. I hope it's not a factor. I hope we get a clean, new fight with no issues like that, so we can have a clear winner.
All right, so once again, today we're discussing Anthony Joshua coming out and saying he's blocking Wilder out mentally before going into this Andy Ruiz Jr. rematch. And even after he beats Ruiz Jr., he's not entertaining a conversation of Undisputed or unification with Wilder. So what are your thoughts on AJ? I mean, since the first, give me your thoughts on the fight, because you actually mentioned that the Wilder Fury was the best fight of the last however many years. When you said that, I'm thinking, wow, did you not enjoy Ruiz Joshua? Because that was whoa.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's been good. It's not that there haven't been good fights, but just me personally, stylistically, just all the things put together, I really liked Wilder and Fury. I thought that was the one that held my interest the most. But I mean, there's the rematch with Joshua. I would think that he's going to be better. One thing that two aspects of it. Apparently, Ruiz has lost weight. I don't know. I think there was a picture of him recently, and he looks very impressive. I'm not so sure that that's a good thing. And visually and instinctively, that's a good thing. But from a physical standpoint and knowing history, I don't know if that's the best move. I mean, he won the heavyweight title being a little chunky, and now I think maybe winning the title, and people are telling him, oh, you got to look good, you got to look like Holyfield, you got to look like a champion, these type of things. And I don't know if that's a good thing. When you get, it's not like he's 18 years old. Boxing history is littered with guys who have lost weight and not been nearly as effective, and in some cases it literally threw their whole game off in reverse. The other thing was, I'm seeing these things where he bought a mansion, a humongous mansion with all these bedrooms and just a beautiful, very expensive house, and he bought this car, and he bought these different, he's buying these different things. And you wonder, is he letting it get to his head? Is he getting a little maybe soft, maybe civilized. I don't know. It kind of set off an alarm with me when he's, it kind of reminded me of, in a similar way, when Buster Douglas beat Tyson, and then after, and he was, he just was really spending his money and doing different things, and and he got the big fight with Douglas, and he looked like a moment to cash out. So I don't know. I just when I see people, huge spending splurges right after their first fight, when there's no guarantee that these riches are going to keep going forever. You could get knocked out in his next fight, and things could drop out for him. So just me personally, just kind of rang a little bell in my head. So I don't know, but one thing he has an edge because because he was like a fat guy, and he went against everything that everybody instinctively thinks, and he knocked this guy out who was a huge favorite in the boxing world. So he has an edge there, no matter what training they do, no matter what they do. When you walk in the ring, one of them knocked the other one out last time, and that's mentally always going to play a factor. But it's definitely, like I say, it's something that I look forward to. I haven't looked forward to many heavyweight fights, but this one is another one that I really am looking forward to, and that I'll actually take my time out to watch.
Now, you spoke about the mentality or the mental stableness of Tyson Fury. There's been plenty of articles and, things on the internet circulating, questioning Anthony Joshua, interviews directly with Sky Sports and Dazn, asking him, is he all there? What's been your observation?
You mean is Tyson Fury all there?
No, AJ.
Is he all there? You mean mentally? Is he all there mentally?
Correct. Because, people questioned him in the fight. He gets hit with the shot. He's asking his trainer, what shot was it? Post-fight, he's saying it was a lucky punch from the gods. He spit out his mouthpiece. He was chewing the mouthpiece. Before the so many things. People said he had a concussion before. He suffered a panic attack. There was a million excuses, like, on every mainstream outlet. I mean, I'm talking, we had...
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I remember, because I'm friends with Joey DeJeco, and, when that happened in the gym, with DeJeco and AJ, so when a guy gets hurt like that, so close to the big fight, it's obviously an issue. Your brain is very sensitive, and it, it doesn't necessarily recover so quickly. So there's always that aspect of it. I definitely remember obviously what happened there with Joey DeJeco and him.
I mean, according to the internet, it's just a rumor, but I guess you're confirming that DeJeco knocked him out in sparring, because that's what the internet is saying. That's the question.
To the best of my knowledge, I don't know if it was a clean knockout, but he was, to the best of my knowledge, he was definitely hurt. He was. That's what I got. Now let me say this. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example. Gym stories are always exaggerated. They're always, and they just, like you hear about it and then it just takes on a life of its own. When Chad Dawson was getting ready to fight Andre Ward, and he, it was a big story. Like he got dropped by Edison Miranda in the gym, and everybody, there was only like 5-6 people in the gym that day, and the story got out that Chad was knocked out before the fight. I said, listen, there's 5 people there. How could you possibly know that? He was not knocked out. He got dropped. He got up. He finished the sparring, but the rumor was out that he was knocked out. So, we don't know for sure. Something obviously happened. Something, I can verify that. Something happened, but I don't know if he was knocked out. I don't know how bad he was hurt or whatever. But, so again, people exaggerate and the story, the rumors become stories. And 10 years from now, it's going to be not even 10 years now. It's, people are going to call it as a fact. They're going to act like they were there. None of us were there, so we don't know. We have no idea, reality.
Now, what about him saying like that it was a lucky punch or it was a punch from the gods, and him not really believing?
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no such thing as a lucky punch. I mean, you don't train to throw lucky punches. There's no guy that says, all right, let's go practice our lucky punch. If you're a professional fighter and you throw the punch with intention and it meets your goal, how is that lucky? I mean, you're a professional. That's what we do. So, I mean, and I understand, look, as a fighter, you're demoralized, you got stops, and, you were a champion, and now you're knocked out. People are making fun of you, making memes about you that they have, 2 hours after the fight, and there's already memes circulating around the world. So you're always going to look for, I call them, some of them are reasons, some of them are excuses, but there's always something in your head, and sometimes, on a daily basis, you'll think of something new that in your mind makes sense, and and you want to let people know. And oh man, that day I had too much fiber, it messed my equilibrium up, whatever the case may be. So it's all just speculation, and it's him as a fighter trying to come to terms with what happened to him. And in this day and age, back in the day, fighters did the same thing, but they didn't have the internet to vent it on, so people didn't know they were thinking all these different things. When George Foreman got knocked out by Ali, who knows the kind of things he was telling his friends, why he got knocked out and what happened. Just now with the internet, we're able to hear these thoughts. But I think in most cases, when the fight actually happens, it becomes a moot point. I mean, it's a new fight, it's a new day, and they're going to prepare for it, and they're going to get ready for it, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Now, have you ever been in a rematch or trained a fighter? I mean, obviously you trained Chad Dawson in the rematch with Bernard Hopkins, but in this particular rematch, you got a guy in Andy that went in there and did the unthinkable. He upset the world, and I hear what you're saying about spending. I like to look at the glass half full. I'm looking at him buying a big mansion, and according to him, the car was actually the car and the chain was not donated, but given to him. He says, when you make it to this level, you don't pay for a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess they gave you the car too, right? But my point isn't that I would use that as motivation, right? Like now I have to pay taxes on however $1 million this house is in California. We know taxes are high. I think he's using it as motivation. He said that much in interviews. But mentally, doesn't he have a one-up on AJ? Because he's like, I'm the fat guy that knocked you out. You thought you were going to beat me easy. I knocked you out. Is AJ going into the ring still thinking that he was knocked out by this man?
Right, yeah. See, that's the thing. Like none of us really knows two things. One of us knows the fighters. Like I don't really know AJ. I don't know. I could speculate on what he'll think going in. Now he might be a guy who constantly just says to himself, "Man, this freaking fat guy, he knocked me out. I was hurt. Maybe I'm not as good as I used to be, or they said I was." And he just self-implodes. Or he might be a guy who says, "You know what? This isn't happening. I need to make changes mentally and physically, and I need to come back here and prove myself and have that type of hunger." So I don't know him. I don't know what kind of guy he is. He may go in there and get annihilated quickly because mentally he just couldn't overcome it, regardless of what he said. Or he might be like Terry Norris when Terry Norris fought the rematch against Simon Brown and fought the fight of his life when he got knocked out badly the first time. I don't know if you remember that. But, he came back and fought a brilliant, all-time great performance when just a few months earlier Simon had, obliterated him. So Terry Norris proved to have the mentality to be able to do that. Whereas, a guy like Buster Douglas beating Tyson, and then he just let the success go to his head and was never the same. Never even remotely came close to what he did with Tyson again. So it's it's very much an individual sport, and everything just remains to be seen. And I don't take into account what I've learned over the years. Foolproof. I don't care what anyone says before a fight. They can say, like, you see a guy and people are like, oh man, I'm betting on him, man. He sounds really confident. He sounds really sure of himself. And I say, listen, it doesn't mean anything. All that matters is the night of the fight. You can say anything you want. And how many guys said they were going to knock out Roy Jones and got crushed? How many guys said they would beat Tyson? How many guys said this, said that? That's just for the for the press and the public to have something to read and see and enjoy and talk about. But reality is, no matter what a guy says before a fight, doesn't mean anything. I've seen guys talk about how great they're going to do and they're going to kill this guy, and as soon as the fight's over, they go, I couldn't tell you, but I had a twisted ankle. My ankle was hurt, but obviously I couldn't tell you. So, they were just talking. That's all it is words. So that's why I don't. As I get older, the older I get, the less I pay attention to what people say they're going to do and before a fight, because I know most of it is just them. It's a lot of it is just them wishing, saying what they hope happens. And the fact is, every single fight, unless it's a draw, half the guys, 50% of the people who make predictions are wrong. Me and you fight, and I say I'm going to do this, and you say you're going to do that, and one of us is going to be right, and one of us is going to be dead wrong, regardless of how much conviction we had in our voices.
So John, let me ask you. Obviously, you're a trainer, so if you put yourself in the trainer's shoes of AJ, Rob McCracken, like, would you have advised AJ to go into the immediate rematch after suffering this sort of defeat? Some people like to say this was a knockout. AJ fans like to say that he wanted to continue. Even AJ says he wanted to continue. I don't know. It looks like he was beaten and didn't want to continue. But would
Right.
I am not a trainer, but I wouldn't. I was on this show, every day recommending to rebuild. Go fight like Dave Allen and Chisora, then come back. But I understand you're giving up all the belts by doing that, which is a lot of leverage. But I think he's such a star that he would have still filled up the O2 on the comeback trail without those belts. But would you have recommended immediate rematch?
It's like I say, it's hard for me to say because no matter what we see from the outside, there's always a whole new world on the inside of their relationship and that we don't know about. There's things that only his trainer and maybe his manager really know. And so for them to do it, obviously there must be a reason with their thinking. And I've seen examples over the years, and I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying hypothetically, I've seen cases where guys have taken a rematch right away, and people say, man, why would they do that? And they said the reason they did it is because if they fought somebody else, they would have lost, and then there never would have been a rematch, and they would have lost all that money. So they put them in the rematch right away to ensure that they got that big payday, because their team on the inside knew that the end was there, and they just had to cash out and get what they could get while they still had some leverage to get it. So I try not to question the business decisions of people because they are obviously much closer to the situation and they have much more knowledge inside of the inside workings than we do. So they made the choice to do it. So there obviously must be a reason, and it might be a reason that they can't tell us about.
Well, John, I want to thank you, obviously, for coming on this Sunday morning and chopping it up with us. Those are all my questions. Do appreciate you taking out the time to talk here with the Boxing Voice. We would love to continue to have you on more regularly. If you have any social media, you could give it out at this time for those listening and aren't following, you can do so.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm always, my main things are Facebook, which is John the Iceman, and the Iceman is one word, John the Iceman Scully, or Iceman John Scully at Facebook. And I have Ice John Scully. I actually have a YouTube channel that I do quite a bit of things on, Ice John Scully, and I have Twitter and Instagram, Iceman John Scully, and the majority of my postings are about boxing. My discussions are about boxing, and so I invite anyone to come and check me out there. We're gonna have some good boxing talk.
Well, John, man, thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate your time. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. World-renowned trainer, Iceman John Scully, talking some boxing with us. We're going to go back out to these phone lines and continue to take your calls. You know the number to call in. 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. And don't forget, you could add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation. We're going out to Andy D in the UK. Talk to me. Andy on Skype. Going once. Twice. Brandon in Cincinnati. Oh, there we go,
Hello?
Andy.
Hello?
What's up, Andy?
What's goodness? Right. I heard you say earlier that Wilder made 40 million from his last two fights when he made 10 million from the Brazil fight and he was only guaranteed 3 million from the Ortiz fight. Now, my understanding is he got paid 13 million for the Fury fight, which had 325,000 pay-per-views. Now, if this one only does half of that, round about 160,000 mark, which probably is a good estimate, then that's only 6.5 million. So I think you're being very generous with the 20 million because somebody said so. Also, AJ's given Wilder the chance to earn 120 million and he turned it down. Wilder's got 2 Fury fights already penned in and probably a Dillian Whyte mandatory. So I think calling out AJ's name's a bit in vain. Obviously, he wants the AJ money. Who doesn't? Like you say, it's the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And also, you said about one sec. Sorry, 2 seconds. Yeah, you said about Wilder fighting right before AJ to put him off. Now, I mean, Wilder actually had a date booked in, didn't he, for November, but he got it taken off him by Eddie, KSI, and Logan. So I don't actually think Wilder's that intelligent to do something like that intentionally. I just think it happens that they're fighting around about the 6-month mark at the same date.
I hear you, man. Maybe he's not intelligent enough to do that in your eyes, but the facts still remain. Both times he's fought before AJ, and the pressure is on AJ. If you are fighting before a man and you're putting together devastating knockouts that this man has to see on social media, must talk about with his friends, the pressure is still on him. Now, let's go back to you trying to debunk ESPN with your out of your arse, like the UK people like to say, out of your arse facts, okay? Because until you bring me someone that is more credible than Dan Rayfield and ESPN, and now Steve Kim works there, that's what we've been using. I mean, look, CYP always brings up ESPN articles, at least boxing scene. Yahoo, you're just going off of nothing. You're coming here saying he got, because there's no way you can read that he got whatever number and not read that he got 20. The article states it. It's there, but you're pausing, right? You're not continuing to read the sentence purposely because it is shattering your ego. It's destroying you guys that he didn't take the deal and in 2 fights he made 40 because you want me to use logic, right? About numbers and pay-per-views and how he can't make this or make that if he doesn't sell this or sell that. But then you don't want to use logic when we're talking about the Dominic Brazil fight, when you have a network that clearly is telling you they gave Deontay Wilder what he asked for. Now, Deontay also had another network offering him $20 million for the Brazil fight. But you want me to believe that even after Espinoza said that, Wilder didn't receive exactly what he was being offered by DAZN from Showtime. You want me to believe that. You want me to believe that Showtime and Fox were fighting over this pay-per-view, and that's why it took this long for it to decide whether it was going to be Fox or Showtime, and you want me to believe that he didn't make what ESPN is reporting. You want me to believe that. You want me to believe that we had Brian Custer on the show this week, and he said that Fox and Showtime are going to be in a bidding war to have the rights to sell the pay-per-view for the Wilder Fury 2. And you want me to believe that he's struggling for money. But I love you calling in and making yourself look like an arse. You know? Thank you. Brandon in Cincinnati.
Shout out to you for the Sunday morning show. Um, I've made, numerous points letting, the show know I'm a big Wilder fan, big AJ fan. I'm rooting for AJ to win this fight so we can get this Wilder and AJ fight. But when it's all said and done, man, if AJ does win what you think he does, we go right back to where we were fucking year or two ago. It's gonna be another just big dick swing and pissing contest between both manager parties. One guy wants this, one guy wants that. Ego's gonna get in the way. And as boxing fans, we ultimately just gonna be in the same thing we in now, shit talking from both sides of the street. UK guys calling in saying Wilder don't make this, make that.
Excuse
Wilder's a
me. I hate to interrupt, man, but if you say you're an AJ and a Wilder fan, you need to pick a side because from what I'm seeing, Al Heyman just made a co-broadcasted deal with two of the most notoriously known men to be hard to deal with, right? According to Heyman haters, he's hard to deal with. According to Bob Arum, boxing history, he's hard to deal with. But those two guys just made a split pay-per-view with two different broadcasters. I'm talking about two terrestrial television broadcasters. We never seen this. We seen HBO and Showtime get down. We never seen Fox and ESPN get down. But you ain't gonna put the pressure on AJ and them. If Wilder can do a split broadcast with Fury and Bob Arum, there should be no problem with Wilder doing a split broadcast with whoever AJ is with. And let's not forget that the onus is on AJ because he's the one without a deal. He's the one that can jump a network. He's the one that is promoted allegedly when they were in the driver's seat. He did this strategically to allow AJ to fight wherever he needs to fight for the big fight. So why are we changing it now? Let's not.
What are we changing? We didn't get the fight because both manager parties were on an ego trip.
No, there's only one ego trip, bruh. History shows you only. Listen to me. History is showing you. History is showing there's only one ego. If Al Heyman and Bob made a deal, how you putting the onus on them that they have the ego? Two dudes.
I said both parties.
Come on, man. Ain't both parties, bruh. It ain't both parties. Al Heyman and Bob Arum took 7 years to sit down and make Mayweather Pacquiao. You telling me they turn around and make this shit so easy, and you gonna put the blame on them? Come on, bruh. Whatever. Take your call, man. You want to spit lies, man. You ain't telling us how you really feel.
Let me finish.
Politically correct. That's what you're trying to be.
No, I'm putting the blame on both parties, man. And at the end of the day, both fighters did shit that pissed me off. AJ said some shit that pissed me off. It pissed me off that they said the Wembley date wasn't available. Turn around, it's available for fucking Povetkin. It pissed me off that Wilder was campaigning to get 50-50, and he had Hearn by the balls and was eventually going to get 50-50, and then he got on Blue Blood and did an interview saying, well, at this point, even if I'm offered 50-50, I still probably ain't going to take the fight. He said shit I didn't like. AJ said shit I didn't like. So at the end of the day, man, I mean, if AJ win, we're going to be right back square at that point where we having these fucking debates day in, day out.
I think he's a grown man that is entitled to get upset when you drag out the negotiations the way they did. I think it's, completely sad on your part not to be backing the man that already accepted flat fees, that was willing to go to the UK. I mean, I don't know. He turned around and made a deal with Frank Warren, who Eddie Hearn has problems with. Now he turned around and made a deal with Bob Arum, who was notorious, right? When you think of Cold War, you can't say Cold War without Bob Arum, but they made a deal with him, but Wilder's the problem. Man, you guys got some major fucking issues, but all right. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go with Latreia. Talk to me. Did I pronounce that correctly? Skype? And if that ain't Latreia, You using your girl num Skype. Yo, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We hear you. Talk to us.
This Trey, and I heard you call me he before. This Trey in Japan. I heard you call me he before. I'm a girl. I'm young MA out here, huh?
Okay.
Uh, um,
So wait.
uh,
You're Tracy from the. Wait, you're Tracy from Patreon?
no, I'm Trey from that's in Japan, working and living in Japan right now.
Oh, Trey. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, my biggest thing with Dillian, right, is everybody keeps skipping over them gloves. That was some nasty shit.
Give me 1
Them gloves,
minute. Give me
man.
1 minute. All right, there you go. Had to mute somebody.
Yeah, that glove scandal was nasty. Everybody skipping over that shit. I don't like that. And then I seen you on Fox. You the star now?
Nah, I wish.
Hey, did you see that video I sent you? Us drinking that snake shit?
Of what?
Us drinking that sake with the snake in it.
Yes, I did.
That shit crazy.
Yeah.
What else I was gonna ask you? Oh, AJ Weird, man. I can't call that dude. I really can't call that dude. I just really can't. I don't know what's going on with that man. I don't know. I kind of hope Ruiz win too, because I feel like, but shit, I feel like once Ruiz win, they're not gonna fight right away. It's gonna take some time too. I don't. What you think about that if Ruiz win? I don't think he gonna jump into a Wilder fight right away. Do you?
I mean, there's always that possibility that he doesn't. I mean, if you beat AJ twice, I think there's no manager that's not going to give you a hometown fight. I think you deserve it. So yeah. Just want to tell anybody that's joining in Skype. As you come in, that's the order that you in. You drop off, that's on you. Okay. So trying to call in multiple times is not going to get you to jump the line. Hope you know that. Going out to we got let's mix us in some boomerangs here. We got CYP on the boomerang. Talk to me.
Everything they say Wilder couldn't do, he do, and then they change it to something else. Y'all say he couldn't do pay-per-views, he do two of them. Yeah, but look at the numbers. Okay, you say he couldn't make no money, he make $20 million per fight. Yeah, but it's not really 20 million. You know what's funny is that if you was watching that AJ interview, man, AJ said something that should let y'all know that Wilder is the man. He said, when it comes down to Ruiz, I just think that, I see myself winning, and I just want to speak it into existence, so it can come true. Man, if that ain't speak it, believe it, receive it, what the fuck is that? Boy, just say, I spoke it, I want to believe it so I can receive it. Just go ahead and say that. We know you feeling bad right now. We know you love you some Wilder. Pause. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the fact that you believe that Wilder, not you, the audience, believes that Wilder's resume, da-da-da. You do realize that Joe Frazier has only beat Buster Matthews, right? That's only top name he's ever beat was Buster Matthews. He beat Muhammad Ali after 4 years of inactivity, and then got beat twice in the rematch. So literally, that dude was fighting 200-pound men. 200 pounds, 198, 200 pounds. If you believe that Deontay Wilder can't knock out 200-pound men, the same men that Joe Frazier was knocking out, if you believe that, if you believe he can't knock out the dude Rocky Marciano was knocking out when they were 180 pounds. Rocky Marciano only fought 6 dudes that were 200 pounds. The dudes don't get bigger. Joe Frazier has a son. His son is not 6'7", 250 pounds. Wilder kills everybody on all those dudes' resumes.
Cut it.
Stainless.
See, I'm happy CYP heard what I was saying, man. All that speak it, believe it, receive it. You know what I'm saying? Be original. That's what you need to do. But it's cool because, like he said, he don't see himself fighting Wilder right now. He don't want to talk about Wilder during this fight. He don't want to talk about him afterwards because he ain't trying to speak that shit into existence because he know that we keep speaking about Mr. One Punch Man who is going to one punch his ass out. So, you know what I'm saying? Leave that man alone. Let him focus on this fight. You know what I'm saying? He got to get through Ruiz, man. And after that last fight, this ain't looking like as easy as these UK callers who suddenly found their bars that had gone missing for 6 months keep getting to. Like, let me stop that, man.
Welcome back, UK man. It's nice to hear from y'all again. Don't run away when Joshua loses again. As I always say, please make sure you push the thumbs up. Share this in every episode of the Boxing Voice podcast because it's TBV for life. And if you ain't on Patreon, that's because you stupid. And shout out to El Camino. Peace.
Thank you for calling in. We're going out to Big Nick in the UK.
Yo, shout out TBV, shout out all the UK, US listeners. I just want to say, Ness, I'm tired of these PBC lovers, yeah, sitting there talking every AJ show, sitting there talking like AJ's energy is different. Wilder did exactly the same thing previously in negotiations. He turned around and said, listen, he's walking away. He's going to do his own thing. He's betting on himself and he's going to make his own legacy. Why are we holding AJ to a different standard? Like, I'm fed up of it. It's so
You know why?
boring.
You know why? Because they both went on and had. This is going to be their third fight, right? AJ, remember when Wilder walked away, he walked away for the Povetkin fight. So AJ had Povetkin, now two Ruiz fights. Wilder had Ortiz and Dominic Brazil and Fury. And, and Fury had the same thing. Wilder and Schwartz and Wallin, like, you don't think it's time to come back and renegotiate? You don't see Wilder's energy change? He's saying he wish that he can be undisputed. He's saying if Ruiz wins, we're going to get undisputed. If AJ wins, I don't know, if they're going to want to do that fight. That's all he's saying. On the other hand, AJ is the one saying, I don't want to talk about Wilder. I'm not entertaining it even if I beat Ruiz. Like, that's different, bro. We talking about 3 fights removed. We talking about
April.
2018, bro. Like, it's
You
time
remember
to talk about negotiations again, Big Nick.
Ness, April 13th. Remember that date? Wembley was booked out. Yeah? AJ's and Hearn were talking to Wilder's people. They didn't want to know about April 13th. They had Wembley booked out.
Big Nick.
Come on, man.
Big Nick,
Come on, Ness.
what kind of boxing fan are you, bro? April
I'm a
13th,
hardcore.
listen to me. April 13th was picked for a fight that was a super fight. You don't do that. You don't do that. It's two dudes negotiating. You do what Fury and Wilder did. You leave it up for the biggest bidder, and you end up in Los Angeles because they paid the most. You understand that, but you're still trying to do these straw man arguments to save AJ. In a super fight, you don't have the date or the venue. You negotiate and allow the biggest bidder. Come on,
All
man.
I'm saying is, come
Name a
on, man.
super
All I'm
fight that
saying,
ain't worked out that way, champ. Just stop it. Just stop it. Why do you think right now we got Wilder Fury date no venue? Because they allowing anybody in Vegas with the biggest dick to bid. Come on,
all I'm
man.
saying is, we gotta hold Wilder. We gotta hold Wilder to the same standard. If we're gonna hold AJ to one standard, we gotta hold Wilder to the same standard. And
Hey,
I just want
man,
to say,
I don't hear my
December
champ out
7th.
here saying he don't want the fight. I hear your champ saying he don't want the fight.
Next December 7th. Oh, Anthony Joshua. Oh, Anthony Joshua. I'm out, Ness.
Listen, I hope for your sake so that we could continue the argument, because if Andy Ruiz ends AJ's legacy December 7th, we will be talking about Wilder Ruiz on pay-per-view, Mexican American versus African American, the biggest pay-per-view in the heavyweight history. The biggest. It will be the biggest. You'll see. You better hope your man wins so we could keep talking about him. Rod in the 870, talk to me.
Hey, what up, man? This shit is so crazy to hear these weak ass UK fans call in now a couple of weeks before the fight. These motherfuckers been ghosts for 5 months, man. This shit is just so weird. And what's crazy is they calling in with all this fucking confidence and taking up for Joshua and shit. Hey, when he get his ass beat on Saturday, I need y'all to still call in. And that's, I need you to post the hotline on the chat whenever you after the fight on Saturday. But that's the reason I want Ruiz to win because I would love for Joshua to win because I feel like Wilder can make a shitload with Joshua and knocking him out would be great for his legacy. But the reason I want Ruiz to win because if Ruiz win, we're going to get that fight. We're going to get that mega fight by the end of 2020. It's not going to happen early 2020 because, like you said, I think they'll give Ruiz, just a hometown fight, for being a champion and beating AJ twice. Let him make a little money. But I think by December, November, we'll get that fight. It'll be a 2-fight deal. They'll fight in November, December, then they'll turn around and fight again like in March or April, or either Cinco de Mayo the next year in 2021. So that's the reason I want Andy Ruiz to win. I would love for AJ to win because he's a big name, but dude is going to run. And it's smart for him because he know he can't take Wilder punch. He know he can't stand up to Wilder. He know Wilder is going to touch him, and he's going to go. So now, cut it. Whole time, man.
There's only one Deontay Wilder.
Stunner, New Jersey.
Yo.
What up?
What up? All right. I finally figured it out. See, this Wilder Joshua thing's been going on for about like 2-3 years now, right? And I finally figured it out. You see, here's something that we all need to understand about the truth. When we talk about the cold hard truth, the cold hard truth is something that's typically not spoken about in public. This is something that whether you're with your friend or you're sitting there by yourself, you're able to sit back and reflect upon the truth. You're not just going to bring it up in public because you know that the truth is usually uncomfortable to a lot of different people. So here's the thing, man. The UK for the last 2-3 years, deep down inside, they won't call in and admit this, but they've been truthfully embarrassed about having Anthony Joshua Parade as their champion, right? It's to the point where even when it's like an equivocation thing where even if it's Joshua's fault in any way, shape, or form, regardless of the subject matter, right? They always need to find a way to verbally illustrate a narrative that ties Wilder into it so that rather than just saying, damn, AJ, you're messing up here, you need to fix this. That's always at the very worst, both guys, both camps need to step it up. I mean, like, let's get real here, bro. This dude AJ moves mad sus, and that's putting it lightly, man. He says mad quotes that aren't fighter-like, that don't show intent to pursue the best. We don't attack this. We just had a whole episode.
Cut it.
Let's get to Alex in Fresno. Talk to us.
Yo, Ness, what's up?
What up, champ?
Good morning.
Morning.
Ness, check it out, man. Number one, Andy Ruiz is going to win on Saturday. That's a done deal, just like I called it the first time they fought. So, again, I'm putting that on the record. Andy Ruiz is going to win again. We're going to be talking about who's going to win between Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder. That's going to be a great fight. Now, about this whole thing about the cold, like you said, about the Cold War, man, about Bob Arum. Bob Arum takes so much shit. I have no idea how. When? Am I mistaken? Is Luke Campbell? Does Eddie Hearn? Does he do Luke Campbell?
Yeah, he's Matchroom.
Cool. Does he do Maurice Hooker?
He's Rock Nation Dazn.
Cool. And Bob Arum, of course, does Top Rank. So Jose Ramirez fought Hooker. Loma is Top Rank, and he fought Campbell. We have February 22nd. We have Wilder and Tyson Fury, and so that's Al Haymon, and that's again Bob Arum. So who's left out? What's the one name that we haven't heard? That's Anthony Joshua, and I didn't even want to speak his name because there's no reason to. Because after Saturday, he's going to be irrelevant in the heavyweight division after he takes another loss from Andy Ruiz.
So you did.
That's what I got.
You did call it the first time. So I just want to ask you anything different about this one. Any? Do you think it's going to happen any differently?
I think it's going to be worse for Anthony Joshua because number one, Andy Ruiz, he's actually putting more dedication into the workouts than he did the first time, and he already had beat Anthony Joshua with the natural speed that he had. And so now that he's been working on his craft, but he's actually been given a taste of that the winning. You know what I mean? He sees what he gets, the reward. You know what I mean? He's already getting the reward right now. And he already knows it's going to be even better if he wins again. Like it could be solidified.
We got Loyalty, UK.
Yes, man, it's all right.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, man, good. Frank, Frank Warren and Bob did say that dealing with Al and Wilder, that was one of the easiest deals that they'd ever made. I mean, they did clearly say that, but obviously they saw him fight Pianetta and Safari, whatever his name is, and they thought he could beat him. So that's why they chose him. I don't think they can beat Joshua. I think they don't think there's got a good a chance with Joshua. As far as sparring partners for Fury, Lawrence Okoli, he's 4 centimeters shorter than Wilder, which isn't a lot. He hits hard, not as hard as Wilder, but he's still lanky and awkward. And as far as all three of them use each other's names for clout and for relevance. And when Ruiz fought Joshua the first time, Deontay announced that he was going to be fighting Ortiz, and that was strategic. That was a strategic move at that moment. They don't necessarily. It's not that we're going to fight before Joshua either time to throw him off. But the strategic planning involved, because they're all very smart people, especially Al, especially the top boys in all camps. They're all smart people.
Well, all right, Loyalty. Thanks for calling in. Stone Bone Boxing. Talk to me.
Was we unmuted? What up? Oh no. Yo. What up, Ness?
What
Hey.
up? You muted yourself, Stone Bone. You muted yourself. That's what you're doing. Speaker. Get off that speaker. You gotta get off video so you can put that to your ear to even sound better.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that the UK guys had went and hid after Kell Brook lost to Earl, so they didn't hear you talking about Wilder take $6 million, Wilder take $12 million flat fee. We was pressing Wilder to take $12 million. Eddie Hearn was running around talking about Wilder ain't worth $12 million. $12 million what? And now Wilder making 20, probably finna make 25 for Fury, and they talking about hold Wilder to the same standard. No, hold AJ to the same standard. Wilder and them put up $50 million for AJ to fight. We didn't hear the UK guys calling in then, and they've been hiding since AJ lost. And they sound impressed. They sounded like they ain't got no breath, man. They've been like they about to die. It's like this fight week for them, man. They worried about him losing. You can hear it in their voice. They straining to get their call out. Calm down, guys. He's gonna get knocked out again, and you can go hide back in your caves for another 100 years until whoever your next heavyweight that y'all can jump on. So quit talking about we ain't holding Wilder to no standard when we were the ones pressing him to take the fight for $12 million. And y'all was talking about he ain't worth it. Now you still talking about he ain't worth it. Stop it. Quit it. He's about to get knocked out again, and you guys can stay in your cave and cry. And he's not going to take the Wilder fight regardless. Now let's hold him to that fire. He's talking about he don't want the fight at all, win or lose. You know what I mean? And Wilder is talking about, hey, I still want the AJ fight. Wilder is saying even after he fight Ruiz, he still want to beat up Joshua. So you can't blame Wilder. This is all on AJ and Eddie. All right, you UK guys, now call in and keep trying.
And I see in the chat there, the last caller talking about these fake purses. I won't even repeat your message. I'll just say send me a link, which you won't be able to provide because it's false. Now, will it come out in the future and be true? Possibly. Until then, no link, no truth. That is everyone. So we got to get the triple rang CYP.
Oh man, look, Big Nick. I hate to say this, man, but y'all even seem sensitive. That was such a soft tone. Like, this is boxing, man. So what I did was I came up with a new UK song for the listeners. And if you know the song, sing along. Here it goes. We bringing the pain to you bitches. We bringing the pain to you hoes. We bringing the pain to you queer ass mates. The UK gets exposed. That's the new song for y'all. Anytime y'all want it, hit me up. I got you. Here it go again because I got time. We bringing the pain to you bitches. We bringing the pain to you hoes. We're bringing the pain to you queer ass mates. The UK gets exposed. There you go. Have a good day, man. See Rocky out.
Bruh, my man got 16 for y'all. Cray, cray. Uh-oh, we still got more calls, just like we got Decatur, Georgia trying to join in. Let me bring them on. No. How long ago? Oh, that was right now. Good. I ain't miss them. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. Helps with the visibility of the show. And you already know, come on, man. I'm a 7-day-a-weeker. I love this, you know. Bruh, I wanted to do this show yesterday. I was trying to get with Mike. I had this all ready yesterday. I'm like, fuck it. I would go alone, solo dolo then, man. But yeah, man, 7 days a week, as many times as possible. You know, we are like 24-hour boxing news, man. It's 24-hour boxing news. We got to be cover the sport entirely. I wish you guys weren't so biased, man. I would do other weight divisions because there's a lot of guys out there I like, man. But you guys so biased. We going to lids low. Talk to me, Decatur, Georgia.
What's happening, man?
What up?
Shit, cool. You solo dolo today?
Scarface, no Manolo.
I dig it, man. I dig it. So what we talking about, really, though? Man, I looked at AJ on the face-to-face with Andy Ruiz, man, and that motherfucker ain't got no kind of look like he want to win. He want his belts.
Yo,
The
did you
dude
see
look,
his face when Andy told him to his face he quit, bruh? It was crazy. Yo, the cameraman played him. They just kept focusing on poor AJ. He ain't know what to
dude.
do.
Like AJ, his whole appearance, everything about him says not finna win. Look at his hair. I mean, I know hair ain't got shit to do with it. I'm just making a joke though. You feel me? Like he just dog, he finna lose bad, dog. It might be the same fucking round. You hear me? And as far as this whole not wanting to fight Wilder, I don't give a fuck, man. This nigga ain't finna whoop Wilder. You ain't finna whoop Ruiz. You ain't finna whoop Wilder. Man, go back to the UK and get your UK fans to find you somebody to fight. Now, I want to say something to the UK fans because y'all have been MIA. Hey, shout when your people lose, goddamn stand up for them, man. I'm with Bud Crawford all day. If that motherfucker lose tomorrow, I'm still gonna rep him. Don't be no half-ass fan, shout. Be a goddamn fan for real. Call y'all ass in and talk your shit. Win, lose, or draw. But y'all boy ain't finna win shit. I mean, it's just what it is, shout. You feel me? I'm out there, count.
Liz Lowe, thanks for calling out. We going into B. Pauli, Michigan. Talk to me.
What up, Nash, man?
What it do?
Solo Dolo. Chilling, man. Hey, look. AJ, man. AJ gonna get whooped, bro. Like, if he don't get whooped, it'll surprise me, man. Ruiz, he be looking all nice and shit, like real friendly. That shit kind of throw you off, man. And I think that's what's gonna happen again, man. He gonna end up stopping AJ again. But I keep telling people, bro, AJ got that look, man. He gonna snap one of these days. And he talks about snapping in his interviews too. He goes snap in his personal life and hurt somebody. I see that in AJ. I'm telling you, it's in his eyes, bro. He got that Ray Carew look. But shout out to my nigga CYP for that song, man. That shit was hilarious. But smash that, smash that like, man. I'm out. Shout out, salute, and that's respect, homie.
You already know, man. Thank you for calling in. Thank everybody for joining in. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button in the future, present, past. It doesn't matter. It helps with the visibility of the show. If you're just tuning in, hit it. If you're watching the video now, hit it. It helps spread the word. It lets other people know that this is the place to be whenever you want to get something off your chest. Whenever you want to defend AJ or defend Wilder or defend Bud Crawford or celebrate that Crawford won or celebrate that AJ got his belts back or celebrate that AJ lost his belts, this is the place to do it. The number is always here. Skype is obviously the best way to get in and have clear audio quality, never having to, worry about Blog Talk leaving you down. But yeah, man, that's GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Hit that thumbs up, future, present, past. Don't forget to join us on patreon.com. Tomorrow will be an episode of Untitled. Join us on patreon.com /The Boxing Voice. Peace.